What did they say? Marshall on them?
That's not long. That cord's not long enough.
Amanda has a small head.
You're gonna have to sit Indian style in front of the camera.
I still can't hear.
You can just sit here in my lap.
Maybe it wasn't the cord. Maybe it's the outlet.
There's no fucking way that board went down.
Or maybe the board burned up.
That board better not. What is this for? What's that thing there?
I don't know. They put that on all of their stuff.
Rode does?
Microphone, everything they have.
I feel like it's for wireless charging or something.
I think it's a camera, and they're in their studio
Probably
right
is
now
a
watching
camera.
us.
There's probably cameras. We just had 20 feds here this weekend. 20 at least. Nobody asked about, did you hear any machine gun talk? I didn't hear any machine gun talk.
I hear machine gun talk.
Well, from the machine gun guys, but I mean, I didn't hear any like weird machine gun talk.
No, I didn't hear it. I don't think I heard any real gun stuff except for the 2A guy from Hawaii.
There's a 2A guy here from Hawaii?
Mm-hmm.
Was he cool?
Yeah, he was cool.
Does Hawaii have Second Amendment?
I mean, I don't know what the rules are. I don't know what the rules are, but when I was like, yeah, I didn't think you guys had guns. He was like, no, there's guns. There's all kinds of guns. So, I mean, I don't know what the rules are.
Apparently there wasn't on fucking Maui.
Yeah. Well, the only guns on Maui were the sheriff's department. That's why people had to jump into the ocean.
The feds. That all went away.
They're actually November 1st.
What happens?
November 1st, they're opening that part of the island for tourism. So the kids must all be gone. Like they must already be, in a container ship on its way to Opera Island.
I think they were on a container ship
on its way to Opera Island.
They're probably going to Palestine.
No, they're not. They're not going to Palestine.
Yeah, Oprah's taking over Palestine.
Oprah's Island.
Did you hear? We're live. Did you hear that?
We're live.
Yeah, we've been.
How
live.
did we get live?
I pushed it.
Is there a live button?
Yeah, it says record.
Oh.
Did you? A buddy of mine's talking to somebody in Israel.
Hey, what podcast is it?
46.
45.
How can it be 45? We did 46 last week.
No,
There's no fucking way this is 45.
I asked you last night. 46 is already on the internet.
Yeah, 46 is up and running.
No, it's not.
I watched it last night.
It's the one we. It is. It's the one we talked about the gay elephants.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is. That's already up.
It's not.
It is 100% already up.
Why is your phone so big? I just have this stupid thing.
Why'd your case off of your phone?
Because it caught on fire. Literally, I had it pushed in. I had it plugged in, and I'm like, "What's that weird electrical on fire smell?" And it was that, and it was like 400 degrees.
Good thing you didn't go to sleep.
Yeah, no shit. I keep it under a pillow too.
You think about the phone getting hot. If you're ever bored, just go ahead and type in Tesla's catching on fire.
Oh yeah,
yeah. It's amazing how many Teslas are just burnt to the ground, and they can't put the fire out. They just got to let it burn.
Yeah, because of what it's made of. There's a bunch of videos of cell phones charging. People keep them under their pillows and shit.
Yeah, and
it burns a hole straight through the fucking bed, through the mattress.
Very dangerous technology.
So Buddy was talking to somebody has a friend in Israel.
Okay.
In the military.
Okay.
And they've gone completely radio silent.
Okay, because they're getting ready to.
Last night, everything's jammed. They're flying birds over that are jamming everything. And I had mentioned it, and several other people said, "Yep, I got friends over in Israel." Also, everybody's radio silent. So the theory is they have actually gone into Gaza or whatever, invaded.
Okay.
And then you also heard about the U.S. Navy ship shot down 3 cruise missiles or something.
Whatever. Again,
false flag. Hawaii. I mean, I
know,
no doubt there. The Hutus or whatever. Who the fuck?
Yeah.
I thought the Hutus were in Africa.
They are in Africa. I would assume. Okay, so in order for the Pentagon to go to war, they have to ratchet all this stuff up. Like they're like, oh my God, troops in Syria and Iraq were attacked by drones. Okay, well, you have combat troops in Syria and Iraq. Well, of course they would get attacked. What? Of course they're getting attacked. What the fuck? They're not there handing out flowers and fucking popsicles. They're there to fucking close with and destroy the enemy by fire and maneuver. So for the Pentagon to come out and be like, our poor troops, they're getting attacked. You know what? Hey, I got a fucking simple solution. A simple solution. Guaranteed 100% will work. 100%. If you don't want your troops in Syria and Iraq to get attacked, then fucking bring them home. Bring them home. Well, the DOD and the Defense Department is not using our military in any strategic way. What they're using them for is bait.
Did you see
Just bait.
what there's a new commandant?
Probably, yeah. You know,
Did you see what he said?
I don't. Who cares? Like, really, who cares?
I like what he said.
Who cares? He's gonna, unless he fixes all the bullshit that has gone on in the Marine Corps for the last 4 years, which he's not, because they're concessional, right? So, once one commandant goes fucking green, the next commandant has no choice. So I don't care what. Fuck the commandant.
He said if the MEU goes in, and you guys attack the MEU, any of our personnel, other men will raise your children. I like it.
No, I
like it. That's what I want to hear from a commandant.
Again, you know, you have these Marine Corps generals who use catchphrases and fancy words.
Well, that's what he's looking for. He's looking for one small step for man, one giant step for mankind.
These catchy phrases and words. But then again, if he was really concerned about the Marines, there is no reason whatsoever to park them on Iran's lawn. You don't have to drive the boat right on Iran's lawn and then be like, oh my God, they attacked us with fucking missiles. Of course they're going to attack you, you motherfucker. You parked right on their lawn. All that bullshit when you see, like, you know, the aircraft carriers going over to fucking...
3 of them now.
Yeah, the aircraft carriers going over in support of Israel. They don't have to... There is no fucking reason why an aircraft carrier has to be in range of anything those countries can shoot at them. What they're doing, this is
looking for those countries to shoot at them.
What they're doing is imagine a prize fight, right? You got these 2 fighters and they're fighting. What America loves to do is be like, when those 2 fighters are swinging and throwing blows, what they love to do is take U.S. forces and then kind of stick their head in the middle of the fight and be like, hey, we're here to support you, but if anybody hits us, we're going to fuck you up. It's fucking showmanship, and I am sure it's the Biden administration wanting to get into a fucking major war before the election so they can fucking skew it somehow.
Suspend the election.
Just whatever. It's fucking bullshit.
One of the congressmen used the, they will go down in infamy. He fucking threw that out there this week, I heard.
It's a bunch of fucking bullshit, and...
They're saying 70% of the military is obese.
Possibly true.
What's the definition of obese versus just overweight?
No, possibly true, because most... I don't know if you've looked at those scales, the scales that they use as far as height and weight goes.
Yeah, we knew dudes that were
most people are obese, but you have an army and a Marine Corps that both suspended their annual requirements, their standards, all through COVID. So of course Miley's a fat piece of shit because there was no requirement for them to fucking go out and run.
Miley's out, right?
Yeah, he retired. He's still a piece of shit.
Yeah,
he's still a piece of shit. So yeah, to say that if you're looking at the overall force structure that they're probably obese it's because there's no requirement.
I watched.
I mean, there's a requirement now. They're trying to fix it because the Department of Defense is doing everything it can to get us in another war. But it's going to be tough.
They came out this week too and said that it's a good chance that Palestinians, I think they said, Palestinians will try to invade the southern border of the United States. I don't think they have to. I mean, I think we've already let them fucking willingly through.
They're already here.
You think there's sleeper cells here?
I mean, I am sure that there are groups, not necessarily any particular group, right? It could be Somalis in Minnesota, or Iraqis in El Cajon, or I'm sure it's not any particular group, but I am sure 100% that there are 4 or 5 people that get together on the weekends and talk shit about the fucking America and down with America, and we should fucking attack a 7-Eleven or something. I'm sure that happens because it happens even with Americans. There's fucking groups of dum-dums in the woods right now talking about overthrowing the government.
I saw 7-Eleven this weekend in Nashville.
Did you?
Yep.
I've never seen a 7-Eleven here.
I hadn't either.
The most surprising one was a 7-Eleven in fucking Hong Kong. I couldn't believe that one.
In Hong Kong?
Yeah. I got a picture of I got a picture of old Corporal Skulderon and Charlie's going in to get a super big gulp and a small puppy.
A small puppy?
Yes.
What is that? Oh, you're holding a puppy?
No, I'm not holding the puppy because the puppy in Hong Kong, John, when you see a small puppy,
It's for dinner?
lunch or dinner. It's not for. It was a beautiful dog too. It was a
They had it for sale in 7-Eleven?
no, it was that right out front. So you had just picture this. Picture a 7-Eleven like anywhere in America. Just this 7-Eleven with all the exact same stuff.
And instead of propane cages, they have puppy cages?
Just all the same stuff. But then right next door on each side of the 7-Eleven, every cliche Chinese movie you've ever seen of an open air market where there's a lady in there cutting the heads off of ducks, and she has this caged I can't think of the name of the dog. It was a beautiful dog, just beautiful puppy, caged, sitting right out on the street. And again, because I'm an evil American, I went over and was like, oh shit, it would be so cool if I could take this puppy. And she saw me messing with the dog and came over and was like, let me cook this up for you right now.
Did you get it?
Hell no. I'm not eating dog.
You never ate dog?
No.
Monkey?
Well,
not knowingly?
yeah, not knowingly, because you do eat some weird shit in the Philippines. They actually had a thing when you're in the Philippines. They would actually have these road carts. So I feel like Mexican road carts, I've eaten dog. But in the Philippines,
There's a lot of I think they just cut one leg off the dog.
Well, because there's
a lot of three-legged dogs running around.
In the Philippines, they have these carts, and they'll have meat that is on a stick. And they actually call it monkey on a stick. And I ate a lot of monkey on a stick. I don't know if it was really monkey. It probably could have been cat or whatever, but there's no monkeys in the Philippines or in the...
Because they ate them all.
Yeah, so they ate them all. I don't know. So I don't know if I've eaten either.
So I was watching, I watched this dude's channel, and he goes all around the world to places that especially white folk aren't supposed to go, right? Like goes to Compton and goes to gets in with these gangs, and he's like, hey, I want to tell the story, like the real story, like what's the deal? So he goes to Detroit and goes to all these places that are supposed to be the most crime-ridden,
right,
and interviews people. And he was down on the border, and he was in Yuma, Arizona, and he embeds with the sheriff there, who's been a sheriff for a long, long time. And while he's talking to the sheriff, here come two dudes. He's like, yeah, this is where they come in. This is the corridor. They walk across. He's like, they don't have to swim. He's like, no, the Biden administration, we have no control. We can't even detain these people. If we detain them, the Border Patrol, the federal government can actually arrest us for kidnapping these illegal aliens.
People, especially in Texas, people have, because they're, the illegal immigrants are crossing people's property and they're just leaving trash everywhere.
Yeah, a dude smoked one of them.
Well, people have also detained them and called fucking Border Patrol, and then the Border Patrol came there and gave the property owner more hassle. In the 90s, I did a JTF 6 operation down in San Diego.
Did you have a black helicopter?
Did we ever get no, we had no helicopters. We did a JTF 6 operation down in San Diego on the Strand because there was a belief that some SEALs were bringing in narcotics from Mexico.
Is this when the boat? So do you know that some rubber raiding crafts came ashore and stole a bunch of weapons, went missing from the SEAL team armory?
Different. That's a different story. But so anyways, they thought that SEALs were doing this because a Border Patrol cruiser was driving the Strand, and so between the Strand and where all those houses are, there's a huge fence because it's still considered military property where the SEALs do all their fucking bullshit. 2 R-470s came ashore. 2 dudes jumped out of the R-470s with huge black backpacks, ran to the fence, fucking cleared the fence and no problem. Car picked them up and they were gone, and then the R-470s disappeared. So they were like, "Hey, we think it's SEALs that are bringing this."
So they came ashore to the amphib base, and somebody at the amphib base parking, they got in those vehicles and took off. Yeah. But those vehicles, you can just drive in there, right? I don't think that was ever secure gates.
Yeah, it's not really secure gate, but it's not a secure gate.
Now I haven't seen it in 20 years, but back in the day.
But from a tactical perspective, there is a big piece of the beach that is fenced off. So I could maneuver. I could maneuver on the beach whatever I wanted to, and even if you were driving down the road on the Strand, you couldn't interdict because the fence is, the fence was in the way. So that's what they thought. So we, did this whole. They sent Stay 19, the whole platoon down to fucking do to find out where these drugs were coming from, and so. We did all this. We almost got in a gunfight with the Border Patrol. It was pretty crazy, but we had a Dragon night tracker, and it's an old device. It's huge.
Is that out of a tank?
No, it was for the Dragon anti-tank missile.
Okay. And
you clip it on there, and then you would shoot the missile, and then you would take your I think no, it's a Clue now, but I think they just called it the night tracker. So you take that night tracker and go. We took it out there, and Ken Stevenson was a Dragon gunner, and so he was operating the shit. It took all these. You had to have these cooling cartridges that you put in there, and these fucking special.
Yeah, so they used to have, because Border Patrol had these thermal units, these tank units, and they had to cool those down too. I remember Heath talking about.
Yeah, the old days you had to cool all your thermals, and so but he had this big thing, and we would leave the base. We would leave the amphib base and sneak onto the Strand every night. And, me and Chris and Stevenson.
Were you guys coming from the Marine Corps side?
Yeah, we were coming from the Marine Corps side.
So did you come across the street, or did you come all the way around?
We went through the swamp. We went through Poop Lake.
Yep.
We would go through Poop Lake. And, but we get set up. And the first night we get the Dragon night tracker in, Ken's looking through it. He's like, holy shit, look at all these people. And you could see with the night tracker, you could see all these people lining up in Mexico at the bullfight arena, which is really close to the water. And you just see all these people lined up.
Did you ever go to a bullfight?
No, never went to one.
Did you ever go down for high lie?
Nope. The only time I went down there was for drinking, because I was young and dumb. But you see all these people lined up. Well, we're on the beach, so it's just beach in Mexico. But there's about 100 yards behind us, there's a cul-de-sac where houses have kind of encroached on that beach. And so we're on the beach, and me and Chris are sitting there, and they're like, all these illegal immigrants are going to come across the border right in front of us. What do we do? And then Chris sees a Border Patrol van, pulls into the cul-de-sac, does a turn, and parks. And so we're like, oh, shit, they're going to get these guys, because they just started walking down the Strand. And so they start walking down the Strand, and they walk past us, and they all have lunch bags.
How close are they to you?
They're 10 yards, right? Because that portion of the Strand is really thin.
But you guys are all hidden and
yeah, we dug in ditches and put. We were fully loaded, which was weird for the 90s. It's the 90s. I know it was a JTF 6 mission, but we're on the Silver Strand and we're like ready to shoot people. And so they come across the border, and we're like, oh shit, this is gonna be great. The fucking Border Patrol guys are going to get them. And we're watching, and they just walk right by the van and just keep walking right down the road. Who knows where somebody probably picked them up down at the end, and they left. And so Chris is like, well, that was fucked up. We should go down there. And so we go down there
to the van,
and the two agents are leaned back in the seats,
asleep.
I don't know if they were asleep, but it was like,
Were they surprised to see you guys?
Yeah, they didn't know we were down there. And so, doop, 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 knock on the window, and they're like, what the? Because we're in full fucking, we're in full cami. I believe our faces were painted at the time and everything.
Looking like Heartbreak Ridge.
Yeah, looking a little Heartbreak Ridges. And we're technically, the Strand is all, it's kind of a weird, it's federal property, but there's houses there. So it's technically not really like a military training area. And he's like, can I help you? And Chris is like, yeah. 12 illegal immigrants just walked in front of you. And he goes, backpacks or lunch sacks?
Mm.
And Chris is like, lunch sacks? Why does that fucking matter? And he goes, no drugs in lunch sacks. And then he just leans back. He just leans back like he's going to go to sleep. And so they don't, and that was in the fucking 90s. So
who was giving them the lunch sacks?
I think that the coyotes were just like, hey, here's your fucking, your lunch before you get to El Centro. Cause I'm sure they were, getting on vans, driving all throughout the night to get to El Centro to pick whatever.
So that's what this sheriff said. He said, he's like, all the high up cartel guys live here in the United States, and all your sicarios live in the United States. And the guy goes, sicarios? What's a sicario? He's like, hitman. Apparently he hadn't seen Sicario. And he goes, what? He goes, oh yeah, it's way safer in the United States for them. They all live here and then go down there to control business and then come back up here. He's like, and he said, all these people, he said, the cartels send you across with a child because because they fast track any families, right? And they can't verify, they don't even attempt to verify that the child belongs with the adult, but that gets the adult across.
Yes.
And it gets you fast tracked, and they just give you a phone. And he said it used to be that it would take, I think he said 10, 12 years ago, it was upwards of 7 years to be processed, right? So they're just sending you into the United States, and you have a court date for asylum in 7 years. Now it's upwards of 9 years. So now they put this phone, which I'm sure they track them with the phone or whatever. I don't think last I'd heard, and he didn't discuss it in this show, but all through the COVID stuff, they were saying that they weren't vaccinating any of these people. They're just bringing them straight into the United States and just be free. Now, you have a bunch of grown men, right, males, most of them, who have been just released. I heard the number for this year was 8 million. They're up to 8 million
probably
coming across. And he said these are not Mexican people, because the two they had, he said they were Iraqis or something. And he said, no, most of them are not from Mexico at all, because we have Title 42 or 43 or something with Mexico, which means Mexico will take them back. But if they're coming from any of these other countries, Venezuela, all these other countries, those countries won't take them back. So they come in and claim asylum from a war country, and then we just be free. Now, there's a bunch of video, not this video, but there is a bunch of video I've seen over the last couple of weeks, where I think this dude even interviewed some of them in Chicago, some just migrants, and he's like, how do you get paid? And they had these debit cards from the United Nations. They had these UN nation debit cards, and I think they were getting $1,400 a month is what they were saying. And for the first 3 months they were here, they had $1,400 to spend, and now the cards have gone dead. So you have all these grown men loose all around the United States with no income now. So where do you think that income is going to come from? I mean, some of them will go work, but a lot, like I couldn't hire them. Like it would be a fucking crime if they came.
Well, okay, so you say you can't hire them, but I don't know if that. Okay,
I have to have because of all the.
But again, when you're dealing with Democrats, and when you're dealing with Democrats, all laws do not apply equally. Democrats don't hold the law as a sacred thing, and those laws don't apply equally. So I'm going to give you an example. An example is the federal government is suing Elon Musk because he's not hiring illegal immigrants.
Dealing with ITAR products at that,
right, yeah. So
hang on a second, I got to pee.
All right, law.
Okay, so rule of law, Democrats don't care about law.
Right, they only a law for the Democrats is only applied when it suits their needs. So, for example, Elon Musk getting sued by the federal government because he's not hiring illegal aliens to make fucking technology for the United States. It's only going to make us greater.
Which would violate ITAR.
Which would violate all kinds of laws, right? First off, you can't even it's illegal for you to hire an illegal immigrant.
We had when the war first kicked off, we had some guys mail some plates to us. They wanted plate hangers, basically. Right. They weren't even called plate hangers back then. They wanted some slick carriers. Yeah. So they shipped 2 plates to us from Iraq or wherever. We built the carriers, got the patterns, sent them back to them. About a year later, some dude showed up wanting to talk about body armor that we had shipped and where it was shipped to at SOE. Like that, and I don't even know if they had the term ITAR. I had never heard it until like night vision and electronics and shit.
I think ITAR has been around a long time, but
so our shit was like I'm like, I don't know. We shipped them to an APO, so whatever.
And, the right answer there is, I don't make body armor.
Well, yeah, and we did not make body armor. But we did ship it back to them 20 years ago or whatever.
Right.
So
you could hire a bunch of illegal immigrants, and I'm sure the Biden administration would give you like a fucking stipend in order to house them.
So we used to fill out like an I-9 form I think it was the I-9 form was legal immigrant right to work or something, right? So all of our labor was Mexican. and we just hired them, right? It was I don't think we even paid taxes on them back then. We just paid them, cash, I think even. But when the raid all went down and everything, like 6 months before the raid went down, Heath came in and he brought an INS person, like, okay, we need to probably get above board. We've got so many people. Let's just make sure our shit's all good. So Heath came in with an INS person, and we did like legit paperwork on all of our employees. So I-9 forms. Because I remember when the raid went down, Border Patrol was there and INS was there. So I'm like, my first thoughts were, they're looking for illegal aliens. I'm like, we're all legit. Like, we took care of this shit 6 months ago. But now, under Homeland Security, after the Patriot Act and shit, every time I hire an employee, we fill out an I-9 form on every person.
Yeah.
And they have to have a Social Security card, I'm pretty sure. So if they don't have paperwork, I can't fucking employ them.
I will bet that
they have some kind
that there
of
is a current government program that allows you to hire them by using something else. Because again, the laws do not apply unless it's useful for them, right? That they don't apply unless they can get them to, unless it benefits them, right? So,
every time,
or maybe the idea is to have 8 million angry men in this country who don't have the capability of work or
I think that's
reproducing.
I think that's the thing. Every time I talk to a businessman, I say this all the time, but when it's a successful business person, when I say I can't get enough labor, they're like, have you thought about bringing in migrants? And I'm like, I don't know. And then like Bob's like, hey, I got a friend that brought in a bunch of migrants, and I know Amazon actually flies them in. Amazon flies them in on jumbo jets to work at Amazon. They come in from Mexico, they work, and then they fly them home on the weekends. These planes are constantly going back and forth. Monkey Works talks about them. But I had also, so the answer is no. I've not done my due diligence on this. I don't know what's involved. I always have an excuse or a reason why we haven't done it. Well, I can't hire them, right? But Bob's like, why don't you do this program? I don't remember what it is, but you bring these people in and they work for, I think it's 6 months or a year or what. They use them. I know John Dunn, tactical pastor, tactical preacher. He runs a crew, I don't know where. They harvest, I think he said Guatemalans, and they harvest all the oranges.
Okay, yeah.
But I told Bob, I'm like, I thought we have to provide housing for them. He said, no, you just have to assist them in looking for housing. Like, that would be our downfall here. Like, people move here to this county.
Especially now that you let the hotel get torn down.
You're right. So people move here to this county looking for apartments, and there is no apartments here for them. So I don't know where we would put them. The real answer is we just build the fucking housing and house them ourselves.
I don't think that's the real answer.
What do you think the real answer is?
I mean, I think the real answer is you have to find structures already available, because once you start dabbling into real housing, like, what is that? What constitutes real housing? And if the feds come in for some whatever, they want to check I-99 forms, and then they're like, those fucking trailers don't meet the square footage for livable. You know what I'm saying? When you start to provide like some outside thing, whether it's medical benefits or dental or a fucking house, there's some federal asshole that's got an idea of what it really should be, and then they come in and they're like, yeah, all the windows need to be double paned. What the fuck? You owe us $1 million. Or what? You know how it goes.
Yep.
You just can't let them fucking in the door at all. So
the feds?
Yeah, that's why I think that's probably why Amazon flies them in and flies them out.
Oh, maybe.
And then there's a lot of companies. I can't think of. There's a nylon company that everybody talks about doing outsourcing to that is on the Mexican border. So it's right on the border. They moved that place down there. I can't think of the name of it.
Well, Eagle Creek, remember they made all those real nice like travel backpacks and shit.
Yeah.
They went to the Rosarito. Like when we went into Rosarito, a lot of companies had moved to Rosarito. When all the sewing textile industry just was decimated in the United States, they had gone to Rosarito and Ensenada and such before they went to, Vietnam and all those.
Well, this place is right on the border, and it has its own walkway that goes from Mexico to the factory. So all the workers can come from Mexico, cross over the border, go into the factory.
Really?
Yes. So, and think about it. The reason why is
Yep.
they sew all this stuff in the USA. Now it's ITAR compliant. Even though you're not using
berry compliant.
Yeah, berry compliant. Even though you're not using any real American labor.
Interesting.
Yeah.
We hired a lady. I had a lady when I came home from prison. We were working out of the garage. I had a lady named Elka, and her husband was in the Navy, and she was a German lady, like straight German, like German accents, spoke German. Drove a BMW like 8 Series, like a really expensive big ass BMW.
Of course.
And she came in and worked like a great employee. I always enjoyed, like, I never, like, no issue, like a grown adult. And then I had this lady, this Mexican lady showed up, and she said, "Can I take these home and sew them?" I'm like, "Sure. Do you have a sewing machine?" She's like, "Oh yes, we have sewing machines." And she would come in, she sewed at the shop for a while, and then she would take batches of work home and come back the next morning with them done. And we never knew who was sewing them, and I'm like, okay, what do I owe you for these? And the quality was amazing. She was doing on our GPS pouch where we have the lid come down for the cutout. It's always a pain in the ass to edge tape that inside curve. And she'd bring it back clearly sewing them with something that we didn't have. And the lid would have like this stiffener in there so that they could just whip it around on the edge tape. And I'm like, I don't know what she's doing, but it's better than anything we've ever made. And like when we left San Diego, there was a real question. I even asked Elka, I'm like, do you want to move to Tennessee with us? We'll move you out here. And the same with that lady. And her daughter was a prison guard someplace. And her daughter came in, was sewing for us part-time also. And I'm like,
maybe they were taking it into the prison.
Maybe. I don't know, man. I really thought they were going like to Tijuana or somewhere. But there was a real question, like, do you want to move to Tennessee, and what does it cost us to have you move to Tennessee? And in the end, none of them came. Like, we really tried to bring them. Like, we'd probably be in a very different position right now if we had brought that late. Well, who knows though? Yeah. But just being scalable. We just had a company hit us up that said, hey, your customer is a friend of ours. He's out in Pahrump, Nevada, and they do energetics and, explosives. That's an explosives company. And he's like, hey, we need these pouches built. We've got this contract for 400 of these things a year. They have to be very compliant. The company we're using has priced themselves out of the market. And I thought, well, if you have a company doing them and they're priced out of the market, you're really not going to like the price that we give you. And I'm like, and I always meant, when you send me a very long worded email, I always intend to get back to you. But then an hour goes by and 100 more emails come through.
Right.
So he actually came back and sent another email to Amanda. Said, hey, I haven't heard back on this. And I just replied, man, I can't touch this. Like, and I just left it at that. But the real answer is, we are building everything we can possibly build, and we sell everything we can build. I don't need to build something OEM and give you a 50% margin or something on it. And then if you're wanting it very compliant, the webbing we use day to day is very compliant. It just doesn't come with a cert. So if I do a very compliant contract, I have to pay 50% more for a fucking piece of paper that they open up and look at the rolls of webbing and put this piece of paper, this other fucking thing on here that comes with like 20 pieces of paper stapled together so that I can turn it in. And it comes from the same fucking, like literally when we ordered it, like, do you need Berry compliancy certs on this? No. Okay. It's 50% less. It's just insane. The manipulation and the bullshit they've come up with so that some other fucking dude's brother can make money on his company.
Well, it's the problem of big government.
And a lot of times it comes from the same fucking place anyways.
Well, it is the universal problem of big government. The government
graft.
It's not graft. Oh, I mean not that they don't do graft. It's that good intention, right? It's the good intention. Somebody has an idea and they're like, you know, it'd be great if all this fucking federal money we were spending was actually spent within the United States and supported United States companies. And so that they get that idea. And when you get the base idea, you're like, It's a fucking great idea. Why should we be buying bullshit from China when we can have it manufactured right here in the United States? So it's a great idea, but then by the time the government weaves in all the crap and bullshit and graft that they want to weave in there to make sure that, you know, their buddy fucking Orson gets all his fucking money, they just ruin it. It's like the gas can. The fucking federal government did everything it could to ruin the gas can.
Yeah, name something the federal government has done that's in your benefit in the last 10 years. We'll even go 20 years, right? There was some weird shit going on back in the 50s and 60s. We can even go back to the 50s and 60s. Yeah. Name something that was in your interest that the government did that helped you out. If you want to see what the federal government does, look at the fucking gas can.
Yeah.
Go if you're not familiar, just go buy a gas can. Put some fuel in it and try to get that gas into the tank of your vehicle.
You're going to spill, and
you're gonna have
frustrated than you ever have.
You're gonna have a fucking EPA Superfund site by the time you're done trying to put gas in your car. The EPA is gonna have to come out and sequester and do all kinds of bullshit.
Yeah, there's none of those things are better than what we were originally using. Now, again, I get it. When you think about the big picture, right, and you're like, Brandl's got his fucking gas can with no nozzle and he's trying to pour it in his car and it's fucking going everywhere. You're like, hey, you know what? There ought to be a way to make that not happen. And so then again, they get the federal government involved and the federal government just screws it all up.
It's part of a California Air Resource Board. And there's a ton of companies that are literally in business just selling nozzles to fix the fucked up cans. Yeah. When you sell the fuel can, it has to come with a carb nozzle. And then you can go to another company, which is probably a crime. Eventually, 20 years from now, there's going to be a bunch of federal court hearings where they're trying to jam these dudes up for selling something that's legal today that they'll retroactive. Speaking of like government contracts, we have a friend, and he was telling me about a buddy of his that was manufacturing a part for military vehicles. And they came in and they're like, hey, we need this thing. He's like, it's not really what we build, but we'll build it. So he did it. And then the next year they're like, okay, we need, 10,000 of these things. So every year he'd creep his price up. And a few years later they come in and they're like, hey, how come the last contract you did is 200% more than the first contract you did? And he's like, well, because it's 10 years later and shit costs more. And they started going through his shit. Well, he bought a piece of equipment, right? He bought this piece of equipment to make manufacturing faster. And he listed it as like Fountain 500, right? Well, that's a fucking offshore race boat, right? He bought this boat, but he listed it on there. So and the dude ended up going to fucking federal prison over this. Like, his company, you want me to build this? This is my price for me to build it. Otherwise, fuck off and go someplace else.
They probably got him with war profiteering.
Maybe. Yeah. But it's just, I didn't go, hey, can I build your shit? You came and knocked, like, people like, do you have government contracts? I'm like, clearly you've never done a fucking government contract.
We had the same thing. At Strider happen.
Over the 550 cord.
No, headspace and timing gauges. So the M250 cal requires a headspace and timing gauge after you take the barrel out and you reassemble it. And for whatever reason, I don't know if it was the Marine Corps. No, it was actually the Air Force. It was the Air Force that contacted Dwayne and was like, hey, can you make these headspace and timing gauges? And so he was like, because you know how Dwayne is. He likes to do crazy military shit. And so he's like, sure, we can fucking make them. Well, they're a pain in the ass to make because they have to be hard chromed. They have to meet a specific hit or miss on the actual gauges and shit.
It's just a go, no go, right?
Yeah, it's just a go, no go. So they have to, they're very specific in how they're made and how you have to manufacture them. And so Dwayne makes these things.
And he when he jumped into it, he loves the challenge and to be able to be it. But once you're in it, you're like, what the fuck have I got myself into?
Well, he does it, right? He makes these fucking headspace and timing gauges and he submits his bid to the Air Force. Submits it to the Air Force. And he's like, Colonel calls. Colonel calls him on the phone and is like, hey, you fucked up your bid. We really like your headspace and timing gauges, but your bid is all fucked up.
It's too low.
It's too low. And he's like, no, I mean, I've figured out cost and I've put my profit in there and this is how much it costs. He goes, no. You don't seem to understand. Your bid is too low. You have to raise your bid in order to be competitive in the market. And he's like, I don't understand. And so they go back and forth, and you know how Dwayne is. It got to the point where he was just like, fuck you, and hangs up the phone, right?
So a dude shows up.
No. A general calls. So now he's got a 1-star on the phone.
And if a general called here, I'd be like, fuck off. like bullshit.
Yeah. So he's got this 1-star on the phone.
Well, you can't call here either. I know some assholes like, I thought you didn't have a phone.
Yeah. This 1-star on the hook, and they have the same conversation. And they have the same conversation to the point where Dwayne's like, I don't understand how you can tell me that my bid is too low.
And the thing is, man, if they come back and they audit this shit later, it ain't the 1-star going to prison.
No, right. I don't understand how you what I don't understand what you're trying to tell me, that you're trying to tell me I should charge more.
I need
for
that
this
in
one?
writing.
Yeah. Well, the general lets out. He's like, well, we have been getting headspace and timing gauges from Lake City Arsenal for 100 fucking years,
and we're going to have to go back and
you're nowhere close to what they charge us for these things.
And if Dwayne does them at that, it causes problems for all those guys.
Causes problem for Lake City, and when you're talking about Lake City, you're talking about generals and colonels and lieutenants that approve the price, that approve this price gouge. And so it turned out that because at the end of it all, he was like, I don't care how one company fucked over the U.S. government. This is the price, and this is what we're going to charge. They didn't buy any headspace and timing gauges.
So how much did the military want to pay for them?
I don't remember the exact number.
Wild ass guess.
But it was 50% more than what Dwayne was doing.
What could Dwayne? What is? Do you remember?
I mean, we're in some weird, which is crazy when you think about headspace and timing gauges. But we're in some weird like $500 to $600 a piece, and
isn't that expensive?
For what it is, I would think it's expensive. But I think that because of the hard chrome and all that, they had convinced the government that because you are giving me such a hard standard, like because the gauges have to be perfect and shit like that, that's what this cost. We're throwing in an extra.
So it's not
money.
just like building a knife.
I think in the end, when Dwayne did it, it was just like building a knife. That Dwayne was able to get those headspace and timing gauges done in a manner that, like, I am sure that when they were done, he was like, because we had a discussion about it, and I'm sure when he was done, he was like, yeah, I'm probably charging the government too much, and so that it was graft and fraud, and that's why we didn't get the contract. Do
you remember, were you, I don't think you were at SHOT. I think you were deployed when the first SHOT show I went to, Dwayne, I had a booth at SHOT Show, and I met the guys from Light Fighter, which was Brad Nelson, James Yeager, a couple other dudes. Jared Johnson was with me at SHOT Show.
Okay.
Because he goes, these Light Fighter guys aren't very light. That's what he said. Bornfriend was there. Mike Bornfriend was there. And Dwayne shows up. Dwayne's just going to kind of squat in our booth as Strider. Dwayne shows up with a keg. I don't know how he got the keg into SHOT Show. He's got a keg. Dwayne's sitting on the keg, and Dwayne was doing keg stuff for a little while. And he has a meeting with somebody from the Air Force because the exchange wants to sell the Buck Strider in the exchange. So meeting's at like 1:00. I'm like, Dwayne, you got to go to the meeting. He's like, yeah, I'm not going. I'm like, you need to go. So like we walk and find whoever, I don't remember who it was. Dwayne ends up doing that. And he comes back. I'm like, what'd they say? They bought 48,000 of them. Like just right there at SHOT Show, 48,000, shit out this PO or whatever. And Dwayne wasn't even going to go to the fucking thing. He's like, yeah, it's the Air Force. They're not going to buy none of these. And the Air Force contract led to AFI system or whatever. But all like, that's how they ended up selling them in the Navy exchange and the Marine Corps exchanges and all across everything. And Dwayne's like, yeah, I'm not going to that.
Yeah, he's probably, halfway through that keg by then too.
Maybe.
Dwayne can put him away.
Yeah, but Dwayne was only like a Guinness dude. Like I didn't know what Guinness was until Dwayne was around, and then Cormac was around, and all those dudes.
Yeah, Dwayne can put him away. Like they drink heavily. They've always drank heavily, and he met a lady. This is a while ago. He met a lady, and the lady was she was a wine drinker. Right? She liked to drink wine. and Dwayne never drank wine.
Was this Sheila?
Yeah. And Dwayne never drank
She
wine.
was a Playboy playmate.
Yes, bikini or Swedish bikini. The episode where it was Swedish bikini.
Yeah,
models.
like legit Playboy.
Yeah, and so, Dwayne was always drinking with the boys, right? So it was always hard alcohol. And we went to Virginia Beach to do an ADS event. And so Dwayne, because it's new.
Pause. Remember when Metrics Bar was the only bar? Before
Yes.
it was a Metrics Bar, it came in a box of 12 little
but
rip top
wait a minute.
carnation things.
No, there was something else.
James Rexroad introduced me to Metrics.
Do you remember? It was I can't think of the name of it. I think it was like
Tiger Milk?
no, it was like Power Bar or something. They were really thin.
Those were power bars.
Yeah, really thin, and it was like
Yeah.
chewing fucking.
I
like some beef
ate
jerky?
some of those that were 20 years old. Like they were so old that when you bit them, they'd snap, they'd crack.
It was like taffy.
Yeah,
Taffy Power Bars.
the actual power bars, and then they came out with goos and stuff. Okay, so
okay.
ADS show.
Yeah, ADS show. Dwayne, because he's trying to. He's pulling out all the stops, right? And they get this beautiful hotel on the beach, really nice. While I'm staying at Bob's Motor Lodge and RV Park down.
And she's there with him.
She's there with him, down by the trailer park.
Is he? So he's trying to impress her. He doesn't have her yet.
No, he already has her, but he's trying to. I think he's trying to just make a good relationship. I don't know, and so. So he invites me down, because they're staying on the beach. I think we were there a day earlier or whatever. And so he's like, yeah, you should come down at the hotel and we'll eat and it'll be fun. And so again, the third wheel. Yeah, it's really going to be fun. You two are wanting to do couple shit. And I'm like, yeah, let me get a pizza. So I show up at the bar. They're at the bar. They're already drinking. It's probably, 7:30 in the morning. It wasn't really, but I show up at the bar. They're already drinking and they're drinking wine. So I sit down and Dwayne's like, hey, do you want some wine? Now I don't drink wine. I just don't drink wine. And I'm like, no, I'll just have a beer or something. Right. And I'm drinking a beer and, Sheila is doing you can tell that Sheila has drank wine before.
Right.
Like she's drinking it like a fucking human being. She's drinking it like a human being. And while I'm sitting there waiting for my fucking tater tots to show up or whatever I ordered, I'm watching Dwayne. And Dwayne is drinking it like such a fucking savage that it's unbelievable. Like they're filling his glass halfway, and he'll get it and he'll just be like, Hup. And she's still swirling hers. And
I need about 20 more of those.
His glass is already empty. It was just hilarious watching him drink that wine. I'm like, Dwayne, you're doing it all wrong. You're going to be.
Why didn't he just get a real drink of whatever?
Because, again, I think that they were in that new couple phase and we're going to do things together like that. And so I'm actually surprised that Sheila wasn't like, bro,
What the fuck's going on?
You're doing it wrong. Cause it was just hilarious. It was hilarious. That's my Dwayne drinking story.
You have some other ADS Dwayne stories.
So
Tell the dog one.
the dog one, we're in San Diego. ADS is doing a show in the convention center. And so Dwayne's like, hey,
For guys that don't know, ADS is a prime vendor. They're enormous. It is a one-stop shop.
Are they still?
I don't know about now, but you could buy an O-ring for a LAR-5 rebreather. You could buy full boats. You could buy fucking helicopter rotor blades, anything you needed for the black. Like it's a one-stop war shop.
It was supposed to be a one-stop war shop. It was really big during the GWAT years. And I think as GWAT rained down that they had some problems too, because I know they started cutting their vendors.
So they had several part numbers of our shit. So when companies would come out and ask for product, it would have to go out to bid, right? So one of the things was like side open gas mask pouch, right? So they would shop it and they'd always get Blackhawk or whatever. So what they started doing was writing our part number in there. So It would be SOE side open gas mask pouch. So it had to come from SOE. That was our part number. And then they would send it out. It'd have to go to bid. So it'd go out to 3 companies for bid. ADS was always one of those. And then you get all these other little fucking companies that you'd never heard of. And they would try to pack on a bunch of other shit to make money on the other stuff because we didn't have a margin on any of our shit. So ADS, we did a lot of contracts through ADS back then.
Yeah. And so they're doing a big show at the convention center in San Diego. And Dwayne's like, I can't make it. Can you go and set up? We got 2 tables, set up the booth. And I'm like, yeah, I would love to go do that. So I go down there and I set the table up and I'm there for like an hour. And the way we were sitting, we were kind of in front. So if I look to my left, I can see the concourse. I can see all the concourse. I can see the front doors where people are coming in and shit. And I can see Dwayne coming down in the big glass windows. And he's got his fucking Malinois with him. And this dog was not trained at all and a Malinois. So it wants to do what Malinois want to do, and it doesn't give a shit about anybody else. Well, I'm thinking the trip down from...
Not like one of Joel's dogs.
Yeah, I think the trip down from Dwayne's house to San Diego must have been very intense because the dog is pulling Dwayne along to the door. He gets to the door. Right when he gets to the door, there's a big commotion at the door. There's some shenanigans going on. I don't know what it is. I can just tell Dwayne is like freaking out. And then he leaves the doorway and comes straight to the booth. And he's like, you got to hold the dog. Do we have any paper towels? I'm like, what? He's like, yeah, you got to hold the dog. I go, well, just put the leash around the table leg. He'll fucking pull that. He's like, he'll pull that table all over the arena. And I'm like, okay, I'll hold on to the dog. And he's like, paper towels, paper towels. I'm like, what do you need paper towels for, Dwayne? He's like, the dog just shit all over the doorway. I got to go clean the doorway up. And so he leaves. And so he's over there. I don't know what he's doing, trying to clean up shit.
You know, it was everywhere by the time he got
there.
there.
Everywhere. So he's trying to clean this up. And now I can see this young lady in a nice business attire, a dress,
like
and
show
heels.
director.
Yeah, with her little clipboard, and she is walking down the aisle, stopping at every booth and doing the, hey, thanks for coming. Is there anything we can do to help? Blah, blah. She's doing the, making the rounds.
And then she gets mauled by a Malinois.
She gets to like almost where she's now. That again, there's a table in between us and her and this fucking dog. Now, people have been walking by. So people have been walking by, people have come to the table, and the dog has been relatively calm. She comes, maybe she was too authoritative, even though she wasn't. She was a really nice lady. She comes into the frame, the fucking dog goes nuts. He does drag a table halfway, the booth space was 10 by 10, and so he pulls the back table all the way up to the front booth, paws on the table, and he is fucking barking like a madman. So I got to grab the dog, pull the dog back, and I'm like, I'm sorry, I don't know what the fuck is wrong with this dog. And I pull him back, and I'm trying to hold the dog back, but the dog really wants to
eat her,
get in her face. He really wants to be part of her world. And she's like,
but he was aggressive barking, not like excited.
The problem with
tell.
I couldn't tell. What are you going to do? I can't be like, hey, just pet him. It's a fucking Malinois. So I'm trying to pull the dog back, and Dwayne comes back, and he's like trying to, because she's just like, I just wanted to see if you got, she's, I don't know, and Dwayne's like trying to talk to her, and the dog is freaking out. So he gets another table, and he flips it on its side to like create a shield so the dog can't see her. And eventually the Malinois calmed down, and eventually she was like, I'll come back later. And so she leaves, and Dwayne's like, looks at me, he's like, did anything happen while I was gone? I'm like, you mean the fucking ferocious fucking tiger bear you brought in here trying to eat the hostess? I mean, that happened. Yeah, always, that dog was a fucking mess.
And knowing Dwayne, he was driving a CJ6 with no top on it, so he couldn't just leave it in the fucking Jeep.
Yeah, that dog was a mess. We when he was moving out of his house in Encinitas, I think it was, he's like, hey, come with me to the house. Come with me to the house and help me move. I got all this ammo I need to move, and it's heavy and blah, blah. Come help me. And so I'm like, yeah, no problem. So we go to his house, and he's got the dog in the back. The dog is freaking out. Takes the dog out, puts it in the backyard. Puts it in the backyard. We load the truck up with ammo, and we're going to go to the shop. And I go, well, what about the dog, Dwayne? He's like, fine. I'm going to come right back anyways. We're going to come right back anyways because there's more shit we had to get. We're going to come back anyways. So we're gone. Let's just say 30 minutes.
This is the house that had like the farm field behind it.
Yeah.
Where we were shooting all the flares and shit.
Maybe, yeah. Maybe we're gone maybe 30 minutes. Like, we're not gone long. We come back. I get out of the truck, and there is Dwayne's Malinois, proud as any fucking Malinois could ever be, with a smile on his face, with irrigation pipe that is literally 20 feet long. Like, it's irrigation pipe in his mouth. It's 20 feet long, and one end has a full fucking sprinkler system. It has the whole sprinkler on it, and he's holding it in his mouth, standing there going, hey, look what I did. In the time that we left, he dug up every bit of fucking sprinkler that they had just put in.
Because they were selling the house. They just resodded it and everything.
Just put in. And I'm like, holy shit, that
They're
fucking,
ready.
that's why when anybody says, oh, I'm getting a melon, I'm like, don't do it.
Well, that's why they make those impact dog crates. Those dogs, they can't get out of those things.
Don't do it. If you're going to get a Malinois, you should get one that is like 16 years old. Like close. Like you should get one like my buddy Sperling. His mother-in-law got this fucking totally trained. It was a police dog. It was totally trained, and I think they got her. She was old, like her coat was already gray. They took
Done with service.
So they took her out of service, and so he gets this fucking Malinois, and he's got an 8-foot high concrete.
John does.
Yeah, fence around his house. This old ass fucking Malinois with hip issues just boop would jump over the fence and go to the front door and be like, "Hey, guess what? I jumped over the fence." And initially they were like, "Get in," and they would let him in, and he would go her in the backyard, and then finally John was like, "Fuck you! You got over the fence once." And we close the door on the dog, and then the dog would just be like, "Boop." Jump over the fence.
You can come back on your own.
Yeah, just poop, jump over the fence. So you want an old Malinois. You don't want a young, virile Malinois.
Okay, so we have some friends that have recently bought some highly trained Malinois. Like Canine Fortress Defense, Joel Riles has dogs, and when you buy a puppy, right, you can take a puppy and it can do puppy things, but when you want that dog trained for real, Joel's going to have that dog for fucking 15 months, 16 months. Like by the time you get the dog, it's going to be like a year and a half old. And then I think they retire him at like 6 or 7, like for real work, right? Now, Joel says that like a retired dog can still do work, but like if it gets in an engagement where it truly saves your life, like it is very taxing on those animals. Like a lot of them actually die when they're older. When you deploy them, they'll still deploy. But they, it just fucking
right. They don't
really
have the capability to control them.
Yeah, it takes the last of their life out of them. Right. But yeah, you're in like the impact dog crate thing. I see guys are like $900 for. You want to see some crazy shit? Go find impact dog crates just on any social media platform. And look at the little bitches talking shit in the comments on there. $900 for a dog crate, motherfucker! You're buying a $50,000 dog.
Right,
it's like $50,000.
Yeah.
You're like $900 ain't shit for these guys. And it's just a trip, like to see little twat show up and talk shit on people's fucking social media
on dog crates. Yeah, that's the gun thing. I bought a $1,200 custom pistol, but I'm going to put $5 bullshit magazines in them because the good ones are too expensive.
Anytime somebody shows up on a live feed, they're like, "What do you think of the Wazoo 4000?" I'm like, "I don't know, but I'm sure you love it. So you're a grown ass man. If you're asking me, I'm sure you already bought it. The truth is, I don't know what it is, and I'm happy for you."
Yeah,
that's the real answer. Like, buy whatever the fuck you want to buy. I don't know, but if you're asking me about it, clearly you already bought it.
Yeah, you've already got it.
Yeah, it's wild. What were we talking? Oh, so the border shit. So sleeper cells in the United States. Did we invade, or I say we as though it's us. Did Israel go into Palestine last night? I haven't heard, I've looked this morning. I started looking at 4:00 this morning, and there's not shit out there now on it.
I am sure that IDF Special Forces have been in Palestine for a week, or been in.
They rolled the Rangers out fucking 6 weeks ago almost.
I'm sure that the Special Forces guys have been in Gaza for a week now. The issue that they run into two issues.
I find it interesting that we have governors traveling to Israel right now to show solidarity. Governors, what the fuck does a governor have? And you know, there's a state right now that's sponsored by China.
I'm sure. Oh yeah. Yes, I do.
And then you have another state that just kicked a company out, said China can't own any fucking real estate in this state. I don't remember which one that was. It's just fucking bizarre. And then we have an open door policy right now. Any Israeli can come to the United States for up to 6 weeks or 9 weeks to any port. They can just fly in. They don't have to go through customs.
The problem with,
and I don't know. So I just heard this piece yesterday, but I heard like right after the fucking, like 2 days after the fucking thing happened in Israel, that they implemented that like weeks before the incident happened, almost as though they knew that was going to happen. Kind of like a, hey,
maybe
get out if you want to get out.
Well, the issue is not coming here. It's going there. Okay. The thing that people don't realize is there is a lot, as in a shit ton of Israelis that live in the United States under the blanket of American freedom, but their allegiance is actually to Israel.
Well, they say most of our politicians have dual citizenship.
Yeah. So when the Red Star cluster goes, you have a ton of, what would you call it? Like not really reservists, but you have a ton of reservists that are here in the United States that have to go back to Israel.
I heard they called up 30,000 like the day it happened.
Yeah, it's the biggest mobilization they've ever done. And as far as governors, again, I don't know why people are stupid. I don't know if governors are stupid. I don't know if politicians themselves are stupid, or they think all their constituents are stupid, or whatever. The only reason why a governor is flying over to Israel to go, hey, we support Israel, is they're placating to their base. They're trying to get Jewish votes, or they're trying to get people to vote for them because of this so-called allegiance to Israel. First off, you don't have to fly to Israel. So that costs taxpayers money that you fucking wasted. Your state's taxes that you fucking wasted to fly over there, because you don't need to fly there to say, I support Israel. Second,
just change your
Facebook
profile, like you had the black fist and the black box. And
what the fuck is Minnesota going to do in support of Israel? It's just bullshit. They're just pandering to the base. That's all they're doing, because the the Minnesota National Guard or the California National Guard is not mobilizing and going to fucking Israel. They're not. So you're not really supporting Israel. When people say, I support Ukraine, you're not fucking doing anything. You're fucking placating. You're trying to get sympathy votes for whatever. Even if you're putting it on your Facebook page, you ain't doing shit for Israel. You ain't doing shit for fucking Gaza. You ain't doing shit. Any of those fucking people, they're all full of shit. I can't believe that people in this day and age still fall for that shit and still do it. It just makes no sense.
I think more and more they don't. Like, if you look at the posts on that stuff and there's 20,000 comments, look at the new post. Bullshit, this is bullshit, this is bullshit. And then you scroll fucking down 5 minutes later, you're at the bottom and all those posts say the same thing. This is bullshit.
It's just ridiculous. The other issue is Israel they are averse. Now, who knows in this current situation? But if you look at Israelis' past and the wars that Israel has fought in the past, they are very casualty averse. Israel, which is
there's not a lot of them.
But it's from a soldier perspective, it's good because
they were the first ones to build trapdoors into tanks and shit.
It's good because that means that they're looking out for individual troops. But from a political position, it's terrible because you're so adverse to casualties that you're willing to make concessions and not accomplish the mission because of the aversion to casualties. Right now, the United States is really, really putting their thumb on Israel and saying, hey, maybe you shouldn't do this. Maybe you should stop. We are trying to get them to not do what Israel really has to do. Okay, Israel's in a position that
right. Why are we going to go fuck with Iran? Why doesn't Israel just fucking?
Well, Israel's in a position that 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 we have been in the past and we have failed in the past in this scenario is when you have something this extraordinary happen, meaning, Palestinian Hamas fighters going into Israel, kidnapping and killing your citizens, not going after military targets, going after civilian population, period, kidnapping and murdering those people in cold blood. You have to, when that happens, if you don't want that to happen again next year, you have to take the leash off the dog. You have to let the dog go in there and do, the reality is, horrible fucking shit. You have to let the dog do horrible shit. So the next fucking Hamas dude that's like, hey, it'd be cool if we went into Israel and killed a bunch of civilians, that all the other Hamas guys go, you're fucking nuts, dude. Look, we're not going to do that. Let's go down there and throw rocks. Because you're just going to perpetuate this thing over and over. It's kind of like why the United States from the end of World War II, almost, from the end of World War II to the end of Vietnam, we had that period where everybody was fucking afraid of us. Everybody was afraid of us. And so when the Russians or anybody, even the terrorists, even terrorist organizations, when they wanted to go after the United States, it was always peripheral. They were always like, hey, we'll blow up a nightclub in Germany, or we'll do something down in Venezuela. It was always peripheral because the leaderships of those organizations went, hey, they fucking roasted all those people with 2 atomic bombs because we let the dogs off the leash. In the Pacific and the European theater, the whole point of all that was to fucking win. Whether that's LeMay firebombing Dresden or firebombing Tokyo or 2 nuclear weapons, you don't want that dog off the leash. You want to make sure that, yeah, I'm going to do something as fucking terrorist organization. I'm going to do something over here. So why aren't we letting them do it? Why aren't we letting them? Because we fucking give money to the goddamn Palestinians. We give money to Hamas. It's a bullshit.
They're giving money to Hamas right now.
Yeah, it's a bullshit fucking thing. It's like the $6 billion that we just gave to Iran for hostages. Now, we didn't just write a check and send that to Ayatollah. We were kind of trickling it. We're like, hey man, here's some money. They could have turned that money off immediately.
Which hostages are we speaking about?
We just did a trade. We just did a trade with Iran for some hostages that don't have anything to do with the Gaza thing.
And this was prior to
Gaza. This was actually prior to Gaza. But Gaza happened right after that, and then we're still like, here's $10 more. We could have just shut that off. What people don't understand is you have to use certain tactics to get certain outcomes. So meaning if the Biden administration went, we were going to give you all this money, but now we're not going to give you any of this money because you are not controlling you're not controlling your people and how they operate. Now Iran has to talk to those motherfuckers. They have to be like, hey man, you're taking away our lunch money. You need to get your shit together. But we don't do that. We allow all these fucking underling bullshit organizations to run around the world and create hate and discontent when we could crush them like that.
Well, because you wouldn't need them if they were gone. It's the same reason we don't stop the drug trade.
It's true. You wouldn't need a multi-billion-dollar defense.
You wouldn't need both
apparatus.
arms of the CIA.
But again, that's the politics of it, and the politics of it is just bullshit. These are, again, I don't want to say easy solutions, but they're easy solutions. The Israelis can handle everything that's going on over there. There is no fucking need for 3 aircraft carriers over there. They don't need 1 aircraft carrier. They don't need any support from the United States. The Israelis have fucking got this. And if anything, we should have been sending fucking like cruise ships over there to fucking evacuate the Palestinians that want to survive this. So I mean, it is a fucking mess. But don't let the Department of Defense and the fucking warmongers in the United States trick you into thinking that in any way, shape, or form the Israelis need our fucking support. As a matter of fact, there is a bunch of people in the Israeli government that is secretly going, fuck you, America. We don't give a shit. You've been giving money to these assholes anyways.
Did you see what Germany said? Chancellor of Germany.
I don't.
Somebody asked him in an interview. They'd asked him. He was actually on. I don't remember whose show he was on. He was on the German dude from Germany was on a show here in the States. But somebody asked him, how many refugees are you taking? He said, we took over 1 million refugees from Ukraine. And they said something about Muslims. He said, we're not taking a single Muslim. He said, we'll take refugees. We're not taking a single Muslim ever. And they said, well, what about, that's racist. He said, you call me whatever you want. He said, we don't have any of the problems that everywhere else has.
I think you're thinking of Poland.
Poland. Yeah,
Poland,
maybe it was
Germany.
Poland.
Yeah,
It was Poland. And he said, we don't have any refugee problems. We don't have any bombings. We don't have any terrorism. We don't have anything. We haven't ever taken a Muslim. We're not ever taking a Muslim. He said, refugees is something different. He said, we don't have these problems that you have all over the place. This is, he basically said, this is by design. It is the plan, and we're not participating in it.
Yeah, but I mean, they've taken.
Bet David said
Poland has taken a shit ton of refugees out of Ukraine.
Yeah, but they don't have, and he said, we don't have any of these problems that are happening.
Well, lawlessness only happens if you allow it.
Yeah, I mean, look at France. Yeah, look at France.
When we had, I don't know if I'm going to date myself, but when all the riots and shit were happening in California because of the Rodney King verdict, all the riots were happening, people were going ape shit out here, and they had the same thing happen in Atlanta. Same exact time. The same exact time they decided that they were going to fucking get uppity in Atlanta and fucking start riots. And the mayor and the police department's response was immediate and it was fast. Like, they brought the fucking dogs out and they fucking crushed this riot.
In Atlanta.
They crushed it.
Weird, because they can't do shit in
they can't
Atlanta
do now, but they crushed it. They crushed it really hard. And so hard that, like, the reporter, I think it was CNN, was, like, asking the mayor and said, do you think you overreacted, and, what is going to be the outcome of all this violence against these peaceful protesters, right? And his response was, this isn't California. We don't allow lawlessness. And that's the issue. The issue is we've raised a bunch of fucking weak people that don't really understand violence, that are in position of power, and because they don't really understand violence, they are allowing violence to happen to other people, right? They've got their armed security guards, they've got their walled, compounds.
They have so much security that they never have to see violence.
They never have to realize the error of their policies. It's like Beetlejuice in Chicago. When the riots were happening in Chicago, Beetlejuice couldn't do anything. She couldn't do anything to stop the violence. But when they started marching towards her house, she sure the fuck stopped it then.
Yep.
She sure had the police out in full force when they started marching to her house. That's the kind of person, like, the reality is, just 50 years ago, that's the kind of leadership that here in America, we should have fucking burned her house. Like, everybody should have went, wait a minute, what the fuck? Burned her house down to the ground and drug her out of her fucking house, because that's bullshit. That's fucking litter bullshit. You're not a king or a queen or some fucking elected hierarchy.
Yeah, it's the same. Her and Pelosi both going and getting haircuts while you couldn't get a haircut.
That you are immune to the stressors of your constituents.
So did you have you seen all the George Floyd stuff going on right now? Okay, so you know who George Floyd was, the Chauvin, and the cops are in prison for the knee on the neck thing, the knee on the shoulders, or whatever it was. There's a lady who is working for the prosecutor there, where I don't even know where that fucking happened at. There's a lady on the prosecutor staff. Something has happened where she feels that she has been sexually harassed, so she has brought out this lawsuit against whoever, the DA or whatever. Well, in exposing this and bringing this out, there's been a bunch of emails that have come to light, a bunch of her emails. And in these emails, there's a bunch of conversation where she asked the coroner to handle the investigation. The next day he came back and said, hey, I've got the findings. He died of fentanyl. There is no physical damage to this guy. He did not die from anything put on him by a human being. then she had some conversation through email or wherever, and he said, this is a career-ending thing. If we go down this path, we've already made these accusations. And they all decided to cover it up, and there's this huge email chain of this, and this has now come to light. So the question is, are they going to let these 3 police officers out of prison who are in prison currently for murder, while they knew from day one that this was not a murder and he actually died from fentanyl?
Well, that's a conspiracy, and unfortunately, the way the justice system, well, I don't want to say unfortunately, because it just is what it is. The way the justice system works, even if there's culpatory evidence like that, they're going to have to get a retrial.
Mm-hmm.
And so they will stay in jail until they get an opportunity to get a retrial, and then that new evidence can be brought to light, and then the court can be like, yeah, let's let these guys out. So unfortunately, they're probably going to have to stay in a couple of years.
It's just like all the dudes in prison right now for weed, right? Now that weed's legalized in California, they didn't let all those dudes out of prison that were in there for marijuana.
Well, because the reason why they didn't let them out is because they're not in jail they're not in jail for weed because of a California statute. They're in jail because of federal statute.
Got it.
So it's the way the system is. So like when Joe Biden's like, yeah, we're letting all the weed guys out, he don't even know what the fuck he's talking about, because it's not how it works. The federal government, for example, the federal government does not charge John Willis for an ounce of pot in his car. It's like it's the same. The way the federal government looks at it, it's the same thing as picking up 12 illegal immigrants that are just going to Fresno to pick lettuce. There's no juice in that squeeze. I would rather get Brandel with a fucking boatload of whatever, because that's a real charge. So when you see people that are in federal custody for marijuana, they didn't have a fucking lid in their pocket. They had a fucking boat full of weed, and that's why they're in there.
All right, pause. Did you hear about the Obama stuff?
No, I didn't hear about what Obama stuff.
So
besides the fact that he killed his personal chef because.
Yeah.
Oh,
that.
I didn't hear about that.
Have you heard anything about that in the last day or two?
No, why?
Yeah.
The Secret Service finally come out and go, hey, we got a videotape of
the
Obama.
Secret Service did come out, and there was a whole Secret Service detail with him. He was on the property when it happened. There was some female a Secret Service agent who was not armed somehow, actually got in the water to try to save him. There's a bunch of weird shit. You haven't heard any of this?
I haven't heard any of it.
Yeah, Bette David was talking about it yesterday on Valuetainment. They went in pretty in-depth on it for about 10 minutes about this whole Obama thing. And the theory is that this guy was writing a tell-all story about Big Mike's swollen member, and it was going to be busted out or whatever, so they offed him. Yeah, everybody knows about it.
I don't need to hear the details. I don't need to hear the fantasy details that you made up a month later about what happened. How about explain to me why 3 days after the incident, Obama was photographed with a black eye and fucking bloody knuckles, or bruised up hand?
It was the same. I thought it was the same day.
Let's hear that story.
Yeah, I thought that was the same day.
Explain that one. So, I mean, whatever. They're covering it up.
Why would they even, if the dude, why wouldn't he put on makeup so that at least try to fucking hide it?
Well, you can tell that you can tell that from the picture that it is far away, and so I am sure that he was walking around in an area.
Got him.
I'm sure he was walking around in an area where he believed he was not being able to be seen, and that's why you haven't seen the Obama since that happened. You haven't seen him anywhere. Because
I had heard that he went to, where the fuck's he from?
Kenya.
I thought he went back to Kenya. There was a whole thing about
he was going to be over there for a year, but I don't think any of that was true.
Huh.
I don't think that was any true.
So back on the back to the migrant workers, we were talking about them coming across, and I remember seeing a video. I can't remember what I was watching. Something about regenerative agriculture or something. Maybe it was no-till grower or something. He had interviewed this dude who was farming in California, and he said that they typically use migrant labor. They bring them in for 6 months at a time or 90 days at a time or something. And that the feds have required that they provide a 401k, medical insurance, all this stuff. So it became so expensive. I remember them saying that all of the asparagus in the United States is actually grown in this little area in California. And it went from being like 14,000 acres down to like 1,000 acres or something. It was a huge number, and it's down to almost nothing. And that we actually grow so little now because it is so costly to pay migrant workers to come in to harvest and do the harvest, that it's actually cheaper to buy it from another country and bring it in than it is to actually grow it ourselves.
Makes sense.
Yeah, it's fucking pretty insane.
Makes sense. Does your pee stink when you eat asparagus? Are you allergic?
It does, yeah. I used to eat asparagus, right? I'd go to a restaurant, and that was kind of like the side I would order, asparagus. I don't really enjoy it anymore. Jeremy cooks it every couple of weeks here, and I don't ever even eat it anymore. But they say you're allergic to it. It's a type of nightshade or something.
Yeah.
Like it's in the same family as tomato or something.
I don't know. Is it? Randall?
Do you like asparagus?
No.
No?
I mean, if it's on the plate, I'll eat it.
There's different asparagus too, right? There's the big asparagus wrapped with bacon, like claim jumper asparagus. That was pretty good. But now they like sell you. They're like, we're going to give you this baby asparagus. It's tender, you know?
Yeah, I mean, if it's on the plate, I'll eat it. But I'm not going somewhere and be like, give me some asparagus. It's asparagus.
What would you order?
Asparagus. What would I normally order?
Instead of asparagus, like what would you have for a side?
I mean, it's either a salad or like a baked potato.
But most restaurants you get a salad anyways.
Yeah, but I'm not going to order
So baked potato.
I don't order a third side. I'm not some heathen where I'm going to be like, hey, I need the fucking what are those things that you love that are the devil's fruit? Those little teeny heads of lettuce. The little teeny heads of lettuce.
Brussels sprouts.
Brussels sprouts.
Fucking Brussels sprouts. I'm not going to order a side of fucking devil's cakes.
I don't like those.
The fucking Brussels sprouts.
I mean, you can doctor them up in a manner that I'll eat them.
Yeah, I mean,
Josh made them pretty good.
The reality is, you know something is terrible. Like
when you have to turn it into something else.
You know something is terrible when you're fucking when you're like, it's so good with bacon. Because bacon's good. This bacon's good. That's why it's so good. Not because of the thing. It's because of bacon.
Yeah, those were pretty good with balsamic on them and bacon and cheese.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were all right. I think as I mature, I get older, right? I'm like, why are we fucking with all this other stuff? Let's just have more meat.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I've been doing. I just cook steak every night. I literally leave here, go to the grocery store that has a butcher in there, or I don't know. I've never seen the butcher cut stuff, but there's a butcher shop there, so I assume they're cutting that meat in. So I get 2 ribeyes, and then like last night I cooked 2 ribeyes. I cut up a cucumber. I skinned the cucumber with a potato peeler, sliced it up, put sea salt on there, put it in the fridge so it chilled while I was cooking, and then a box of mushrooms, and then an onion. I sauteed an onion, cooked a box of mushrooms in butter, and that's what I have for dinner. Almost every night, that's what I have for dinner. Some nights, I'm like, I don't really want to. I'm in a hurry, so I only cook 2 pieces of meat, and she's totally fucking fine with that. Just 2 steaks. I'm doing them for like 2 minutes on one side, right. 2 minutes on the other side.
Are these Walmart steaks?
No. So she.
Oh, you get like a butcher box, don't you?
No, I haven't been. We're going to actually get a butcher box type deal going with Polyface, Joel Salatin. We're going to do something with them. But no, I buy from Cash Saver. They have a butcher in there, as does, I think there's one your way also. There's a Cash Saver, and they have an actual meat cutting department in there. But Amanda was ordering, like, we stopped going to Walmart. She would go to Walmart every Tuesday and come back, and I'm like, what the fuck did we get for $500? There's not much shit here. Well, she stopped. I had her stop cooking. She was cooking lunch twice a week, so that was the reason to go to Walmart. So Jeremy took over cooking 5 days a week. And she orders through online ordering, and then you have a shopper that comes out, and they have like 2 different levels. So I don't know how it works, but when you order the higher level, the shopper actually goes in and shops for you. So there is an incentive to pick out the better things because you're going to tip them higher. So she ordered 2 of these steaks. They have ribeye there in a black, it comes with a black tray and a gold sticker and shit on it. And it's like fucking $30 for 2 mediocre looking ribeyes. It's their premiere. And when I cooked it, and I'd been watching shit on TikTok, so maybe I was tainted by this, but there's dudes all over Instagram shorts and TikTok cooking these fucking Walmart meats, and they're like, there's something wrong with this shit. I just paid $40 for this steak, and I cooked it, and you can take a fork and it just comes apart in layers. Like it's like it's been stacked together, almost like it's printed, or like it's put together with pink slime or something. Well, she bought these, and I'm like, man, I've been hearing all kinds of shit about these Walmart ribeyes, and I cooked them up, dude. They cooked different, they smelled different, they looked fucking different, and when you fucking took the fork, they came apart like they were layered, like you just stacked a bunch of pieces of meat. So I took a bite of it. I go, I'm not fucking eating this. She goes, yeah, it doesn't seem right, and we threw them away, and I literally left here and went and got 2 more pieces. We don't buy any meat from fucking Walmart
anymore.
Nope. And then Joel Salatin was here, and I said, hey, I'd like to do something with Polyface. They have a box. They're shipping. They even ship eggs now all over the place. And he said, yeah, I'd love to do it. And then when we were off camera the next day, he said, hey, I really want to do this. So I'll get with my people when I get back to the farm, and we'll figure out how we're going to do this. So we'll be able to have a box. And I don't know if it'll be, this is what I eat, this is what Jeff eats, these are the boxes available, or if I would like our customers to just be able to go on, order what they want, fill a box up, and then just have an affiliate code so there's a discount for them. Like when I was buying all the rats and mice from Rodent Pro, you would just have, the box was this size, and you had 100 mice, different sizes, and you could fill the box, and the program knew, okay, you can put these other things in here to fill it. And then when you would add one, it'd be like, that's too much, it has to go to a second box. So I would hope we could do it like that, so they could just order the shit. Because if I'm ordering stuff, I'm ordering nothing but ribeyes and fillets. There's a lot of other cuts on a cow, right? So it'd be nice for people to just kind of build a box with what they want in there. I know Spearco has a thing with Butcher Box where when you subscribe through him, they give you a pound of bacon every I think it's every week or every month, however you set it up. They give you a pound of bacon for free for the rest of your life as long as you do the program. And then I've seen Butcher Box will also ship out like 2 free king crab legs every month, or, whatever. So hopefully we can do something like that. But Polyface stuff, there's no chemicals. There's none of that meat's vaccinated. The water comes from a mountain source that they own. It literally comes out of a spring on the top of the mountain and comes down. He's got over 1,000 acres they're running. So you're getting nothing but meat. There's nothing there. There's no question about what's there. So much so that Neethi does her meat box through Polyface, and she's super, like, to be on her protocol. Like, she has all kinds of clients that have different diseases and shit. People come to her and they're like, I'm dying. I have 3 months to live. And she's like, oh, this is what you got to do. But like her protocol is the water source for the meat has to come from a spring. Like, there's a lot of stipulations in her program, and she uses Polyface, so you're getting something super clean. There's no question as to what's there. So I should probably hit Joel back, just kind of refresh his memory. I know he went from here to somewhere, and then I don't think he's even back at Polyface yet. Yeah, he's kind of doing a tour. He was going from here to a farm like 90 minutes from here and doing a whole day with him.
Yeah, you just got to get his guy that is doing that, because it's not like he's.
Yeah, I assume it's his son.
Yeah, you got to get
his
guy.
His son is heavily involved, runs the operate, and that's what he was saying. He's like, I'm to the point where I'm the most expendable person on the operation now. He's like, I can not show up and everything still runs.
Right, yeah.
And that's what I was interested in when we sat down and when I interviewed him. That's kind of how do you do that? What is it you're doing? Which leads into, he's like, we do this intern program, and that sounded awesome. And then the next day, Evan's like, you should bring in some interns. And I don't think Evan even heard the interview. Like, Evan didn't even know that we had those conversations. And I'm like, well, I don't have a place to house him. He's like, why don't you put the building up? Put them in the building, put the new building up. And like, so in talking to Evan a couple times back and forth and then running it past you last week, I don't think we've talked about this public facing, but
I don't think so.
Intern programship, where we're going to have people basically just send in a resume or a application. Joel says I think they pick 55 people or something. They whittle it down to 55, and then you have to show up.
I think everybody picks 10.
Yeah, each person
Yeah.
picks 10 if there's any overlap, but I think there's 50 total or something.
Yeah.
They have a couple hundred applications come in, they pick 50, and then you have to show up for a week. And he's like, we run them for a week, and then we pick the 11 that we like out of those, and then they get a 6-month internship. And that's kind of what we're using those numbers to kind of start with. We've got to put more on paper, but we'll bring people out, do an internship. You will work, a lot of work, but there'll be a lot of cool shit with it too. When you leave, you'll have skills. You'll have skills on some sustainable agriculture stuff, some homesteading stuff, some business stuff, some social media. You'll basically be able to take whatever it is you want to do and have the framework to put it in motion because you will have done it here. We're going to give you some product. You're going to figure out how to produce that product, scale that product, and then market that product beyond the local area. Like you will have eggs, for instance. Okay, you can be the chicken egg guy. We're currently producing 60 eggs a day. You can take those 60 eggs a day. How do you sell them? Who do you sell it to? How do you bring in more business in addition to eggs, right? Stuff like that. How do you already have a customer coming to pick them up. What can you upsell them? How can you merge that into somebody else who's in the program to their product, for instance? Like you might be the pumpkin guy, but you only have pumpkins for a couple of weeks. What are you going to do with those pumpkins afterwards? Well, you didn't sell all your pumpkins. Maybe we roast the pumpkin seeds. Now the pumpkin seeds are roasted. Now we can bag them and market them through SOE, perhaps, And then how do you target market pumpkin seeds to SOE customers? I can sell them just fine. Hey, I got pumpkin seeds, but you can't. What do you do with it, right? So how do you target market to general areas or even overall areas through Facebook? Well, pumpkin seeds are illegal to ship to Japan. Okay, well, we don't need to take our targeted marketing, our paid advertising reach to Japan then. I'm just making that up. I don't know that.
It sounded legit.
Norihiko would be like, no, we have pumpkin seeds. We're the pumpkin seed, country of the world. We grow all the pumpkins. We grow square pumpkins in Japan. But like that. So we're just kind of putting it on paper, throwing some ideas around still. If you're interested in that, though, leave some comments and let us know your interest. A lot of times we'll throw these things out that I think are really going to go somewhere, and there's no comments on them. So dude's like, hey, how come you didn't ever build this thing? Because none of you fucking guys ever said anything about it. So working on a new backpack in there. I've got a little backpack I took out this weekend that I really like. So we're kind of doing I'm doing a backpack that's between the mini pack and the day pack. Mm-hmm. So it's like a day pack. It's like the shape of a day pack, but way less off your back. Won't hold nearly as much, but it's great. I had the drone in there this weekend, camera, battery packs. I had a lot of shit in there. I was surprised how much actually fit in it. So I took it, started patterning it yesterday to do a second one last night. I've got one about half built, so playing with that. Do we want to talk about your thing?
Do we? I don't know. I don't know if I'm ready to talk about my thing. I think they should find it organically. I think they should find it organically.
Where would they find it?
It's on the YouTubes.
So
it's not on the YouTube. Well, I don't know. It may be.
I just watched it, so it's somewhere on YouTube.
But did you watch it on the YouTubes?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, he sent me a link to it.
Okay. All right. So it is out there.
I would guess that it's going to show up since you're sitting here next to my phone.
Maybe. It might show up.
There might be another YouTube channel that has some videos with Scully in it. So if you see that, I guess make sure you click on that and subscribe to that channel.
You're not going to like it because it is not the same thing as we do here. It's completely different, and that was kind of the point. I wanted to, I didn't want. The reality is none of this, all of this, even this and all that, and Brandel over there. It's only possible because of John, and I didn't want John to. I needed to do something else. I needed to add something into my book because I just needed to keep busy. And I certainly didn't want John to think I was doing The Rock and trying to steal Fast and Furious from
The Rock can't act.
From try and steal the Fast and Furious franchises.
He's the polar opposite of Vin Diesel.
It's completely different. It's just something that I'm doing to fill a space that I need to fill. And
what would the
it's out
genre
there.
be? Is there going to be guns in it?
Little.
Because of demonetization and
a little, yeah. I didn't want to put any guns in it because of I didn't want to put any. The goal is to be The reality is the goal is to be as generic and mainstream as possible without crossing any lines that will get you shadow banned or whatever. And so initially I was like, no guns. But then I have an idea in my head on how some guns, where the gun will be used in a manner that should still be within guidelines of, whatever Zuckerberg or the fucking Nazis of the New World Order.
You just demonetize yourself by saying Nazi.
That's true. And Zuckerberg.
You're not allowed to say brape.
No.
You can't say it with an R.
I don't understand.
I don't either. I don't
understand
get it.
why you wouldn't be able to say that.
Why can't you talk about and bring light to those things,
those
right?
things, yeah.
You're not allowed to say pedophile. I think that's another one that demonetizes you. Child trafficking. You can't say fucking child trafficking or it demonetizes you. Like, it's pretty fucking, it's like all the shit, all the evil things that are happening.
They're trying to hide.
They're trying to hide. Yeah, the elites, the powers that be. Yeah, you don't want them.
They don't want you to know that all those kids are on Obama's
They're in their houses, yeah.
Obama's island.
So what's the genre going to be of the channel? Like, what would it be? Is it overlanding? Is it outdoors? Is it
maybe outdoorsy, overlandy, kind of? Because first off, I don't know anything about the things that I'm talking about or attempting to do. I'm just going to attempt to do them. And in the end, if it works, it works. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work.
Will there be projects and build projects?
Yes, there's going to be build projects. There's going to be, campy entertainment, I guess. And I'm just gonna show shit that I think is interesting. So
like a lot of campfires.
Maybe a couple campfires.
I saw a campfire in the first one.
Well, you have to open up with a campfire. Right, because it is camping. I'm gonna take. I
do feel like I'm lacking some campfire. We've had some campfires, but
the basic gist of it is I'm taking a dog kennel and turning it into a place to live.
But it's not just a dog kennel. What is it?
It is literally just a dog kennel.
I thought it's on a trailer.
It is on a trailer, but it's a military working dog kennel.
How did you find that? I've never seen one of those.
Well, so some friends of ours. Will and Hannah had decided. Well, basically, Will worked at BMW, or he does work at BMW, and somebody came in with this idea and wanted a custom trailer made because the dog kennel is basically just a forkliftable box, right?
It sits in a truck bed or something.
That they just forklift and put it where they need it, and then they forklift and put it where they need it. And
this is like Ninja Dogs.
Yeah, this will be.
I mean, that's what the trailer was. That's what this box was made for.
I'm sure there was a couple of Malinois pooping in that thing all the time. So, anyways, their friend had brought this thing in to have a custom trailer made for it. They made this custom trailer that the box fits on perfectly.
And Will made this?
I believe Will was in the mix of getting this thing made. I don't know all the details because I didn't go too far down the rabbit hole.
Not at the BMW dealer though.
This was I think this was before he was working at BMW.
When he was apprenticing.
When he was somewhere else, yeah. And so they made this trailer and they got it all together, and then for whatever reason, or they put the trailer they put the box on the trailer and changed a couple of things in it. And the guy at the end once it was together, at the end the guy was like, I'm gonna do something else, and gave it to Will and Hannah. Or maybe there was some money exchange. I don't know the full details, but gave it to Will and Hannah. And then, life happened, and it didn't really get used that much. And then Will and Hannah split up, and so this thing was just sitting at Will's house. And I had seen one of these fucking things like on governmentplanet.com, just the dog kennel, and I'm like, man, that thing looks pretty cool. I can't believe it has an air conditioning on it. And so I had sent, because Will sends me crazy shit all the time. Hey, look at this fucking Corvette, or look at it. And so I had sent it to him, and I'm like, hey, have you ever seen one of these boxes? Because I think the one that was for sale on GovPlanet was actually in Alabama or some shit. And he's like, good. I got one in my backyard on a trailer, and it's all bitching. And I go, oh man, I'm like, I would really like to look at that, because I think I want to make an overland trailer out of that rig. It seems like the perfect size and blah, blah, blah. And so, like a week later, he's like, how about I just give you this one? And I'm like, Well, I don't want. I mean, it had to have cost you money to
Right,
do
what
the
do you want
things.
for it?
What do you want for it? And what I don't want to waste your. I don't want you to have wasted your time and all that. And he's like,
My dad's pissed off. It's in the backyard.
yeah. He's like, I'm never going to use it. It was for something else, and we're just not going to do that anymore. And and Will's like, if you really have to give money to it, give it to Hannah, because I told her I would give I'd give half of the profits to her anyways if it was sold. And so he brought it up. I probably had it for 3 months now. Sorry, Will, I should remember the dates, but I'm too old, so I don't
Does
remember.
Will
dates
listen to this?
I don't know if he does or not. He might.
I miss talking to Will. Like, Will could walk into my workspace and be there for 10 minutes, and 6 months later know where everything is in my workspace. And I'd be like, I can't find this. Oh, it's under the third thing. You got to pick up 4 pounds of this shit. Like,
it's funny. I gotta tell you about when he.
It's like he goes through all your underwear drawers and then knows where all your secret shit is.
When he came here for the podcast. Well, when he came here for the podcast, that's when he had dropped off that trailer. And so I took the trailer over to John's house and parked it over at John's house, and it was sitting there. And in my head, I had all these ideas of what I was going to do with it. But again, the reality is there's 200 projects at my house right now, right? 200 things. There's always grass to mow. There's always this other stuff. And so I had this thing happen. I had this thing happen where I just knew I needed to do something. I had to fix the path that I was on. I had to change things because, some of you may not realize, but I'm getting older and older, and there's just no time. The reality is
It gets faster, man.
I've wasted so much time.
I heard Spirko say that yesterday. He's like, when you go from 30 to 40, it goes like that. But when you go from 40 to 50, it goes 10 times faster.
I've just wasted so much time worrying about things that, fucking who cares if the world ends, because I'll be gone, right? So why am I not enjoying all the things that I've always said I was going to enjoy? It's that I've made, 20 trips across the country, 20 trips across the country that have all been on a time crunch. And I've always driven by, you see that sign on the side of the road where it's like the world's biggest frying pan. And I would be like, I would love to go see the world's biggest frying pan next time. And so,
there's going to be BB gun holes out there.
Maybe
when you see it.
Maybe I'll shoot it with a BB gun.
Some asshole kid.
So again, I just, I had to blow up. I have to blow up my life a little bit to make this happen. And if I do the thing that I'm currently doing with trying to film and document what I'm doing with this dog kennel, it's something that it's kind of John Willis inspired. Some of the stuff is, if you put it out there, then you have to keep going, right? If I just left the trailer at John's house, 5 years from now it's going to still be covered in moss and still not where it's at. Where right now, in my head, every day I have to think of what's the next thing I'm going to do to move it forward so I can put something on video. So initially in my head, I was thinking, I would really like this to turn into something that would financially benefit me, right? Because why else do something? Make it so it financially benefits.
Do it because you love it.
But
you love the process, right? You love I don't know what I'm trying to say, but it's always awesome if it can also pay for itself.
But as I've been thinking about it, Austin came and I gave him the first videos I made, which I think are terrible.
Where'd you meet at?
At the Sperling Ranch.
At the ranch?
Yeah. Well, we met in downtown Waverly, and then I took him over there so he could take pictures of the.
What were you wearing? Nothing weird.
Nothing weird. Why? Was I supposed to wear something weird?
Well, it sounds like a drug deal.
Oh,
like it should have been like you could have like given it to him in a paper bag or something.
I probably should have, and we could have videotaped it.
Or you could have taped it all up, put it in a Ziploc, and then put it in a box.
So he came over, and he took some pictures of it and shit, and I was like,
You should make him have to find it. You should give him clues.
I was like, hey, the footage is terrible. I don't feel like I have the proper.
Did he say you should see John's footage?
I don't feel like I have the proper flow and everything.
You've cut up some of my videos, right? Well, they're pretty bad, aren't they? You guys make them look good.
I don't have the proper flow and stuff like that. It's like, and so even this morning when he sent me the first video, I really could only watch about. I really only watched about a minute of it, and I'm like, I can't watch this. It's just going to have to go out in the world, and it's going to have to be out there. And so, I mean, that's the gist of it. I need to blow up my life a little bit and start doing ththings that actually physically make me happy versus just going through the motions every day to just do what? Fucking cut grass, or it's not leaving a real impression on what I'm doing in my life.
How long is your first video? That video I was just watching.
I can't believe, I don't know what he did, but when I looked at it, it said 12 minutes. I was for sure, I'm like I even told him, I go, fuck, I've worked on this for 2 days. I'm out here videotaping, and I'm like, I deleted like 50 takes.
Yeah, don't do that.
Because I just don't like
because
it.
You can build out of those delete parts.
I know, but I just
even like I'll say shit wrong. Literally, I'll be saying a word and completely like fucking say the word wrong. Because like I told you earlier, I've got if you see me on a video with earbuds in, there's something playing.
Right.
I'm having a conversation with Jeff in my head. I'm having a conversation with Brandel in my head. I'm trying to say something while I'm listening to 3 different people, in addition to words actually in my ears. And I'll be I'll be in the middle of a sentence and say something I just heard. And I'm like, I don't think that was right. So I'll re-say it again, cognizant, and then I'll say it again. And then he'll just kind of pick. But to take the fucked up pieces out of there, you can put bleepers at the end. I mean, you can put fucking 3 minutes outtakes.
I get it, but I just feel like I do it, and then I'll be like, nope, can't have that, because because he edits so strangely that, again, I don't want a video going out that I said, fuck Bin Laden or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Because it's just weird. I don't know. I don't know why I'm doing it, but again, I'm doing it.
And you don't cuss on any of your stuff.
No. Again, the point is to be as generic as possible. I mean, because
just point that out to him. I mean, be you.
No, I know.
But hey, motherfucker, you got to cut this out of here. You can't be saying motherfucker on my video, and then, oh shit, I just said motherfucker. Give him the sentence again without motherfucker.
No, he knows.
Yeah,
he knows. I already. That's kind of one of the things that we talked about, was just being as generic as possible.
He'll tell me, he's like, "There's no way this video is going to go up." I'm like, "Fucking put it up anyways. I don't care if it's monetized." Like, I'm to the point where I'm just going to play the fucking music I want in my videos. Like, we're not getting any of them monetized anyways.
Well, that's after giving him the first card and him downloading it, he's like asking me questions about what is the outcome, and because I was like, look, I don't have any fucking money. I can't pay you. Your time is valuable. We need to work something out. I go, if this turns into something where there's money being exchanged, your time is valuable, and I will make sure that you are compensated. And I go, and I'm like, and if it's a fucking huge pile of dog shit and nothing comes of it,
then we're blaming it on you, Austin.
We're not blaming it on you, Austin, because I'm the one trying to do this thing. If it's a huge pile of dog shit and doesn't come to anything, I still want to compensate him for his time, right? I don't want people to think that I'm just trying to fucking, freeload off their backs. I lost something very important. Very, very important. And I have to get it back. I just have to get it back. It's one of those things where it's like, I don't know. It's one of those things where you've been shown something that is so fucking perfect. You just can't go back to the way it was. You can't go back, and that's part of this whole thing, is for me to be able to put all that fucking emotion and shit into this project and push it out to the end, right? Get it done. Get get to a point where I have finished this thing that is helping me find more happiness or find the happiness that I have lost.
What were you shown that was perfect?
Just perfect, John. Just perfect.
Okay.
Right. I can't,
So if you're gonna build your videos,
mm-hmm.
you have something in mind. There's some channel you watch where you're like, I want my videos to look like this.
That is my problem. My problem is no. So when you have always been like, hey, you should do your own podcast, or you should do your own YouTube channel. You should do your own thing. I have the resources to do, I have the resources, and I think I have the ideas to do a lot of things, right? Just a lot of different things. But again, people are already doing them.
Doesn't
right?
matter. Doesn't fucking matter.
Again,
doesn't matter one bit.
Again, I know it doesn't matter, but for me, it's kind of like it's like a tattoo. When people talk about tattoos,
do you want a tattoo?
Well, I'm going to get a tattoo. Yes.
Okay.
I'm trying
let me cite. So guys, listen. I know I interrupt Jeff a lot. I know that I see it in the videos. Man, shut up. Just let Jeff talk. I have something wrong in my head where I will forget what I'm saying. I literally take notes so that I have things that I want to touch on in the podcast, and I forget to even read the notes. So when you see me say something, it's because I'm not going to remember it in 5 seconds, and this dude does remember. If you notice, we can go off on some weird tangent for 30 minutes, and he'll remember right where we at. I can't remember where we were at ever, so if I don't say it, it's gone. And I don't think it matters that somebody else has already done it, because you're not going to do it the same way. Like, I look at Matt Caricature's, I don't even know if I say his name right, Off the Ranch and Demo. I've never watched a Demo Ranch. I've never seen a single Demo Ranch video because it's all guns and stuff. But I watch the Off the Ranch stuff because I'm like, we're kind of doing that, right? When he bought this thing now, he's got this resort, right? We bought this property and it was kind of like that. And Amanda described it as wonderment. And I said, there's a YouTube channel out there called Wartime Mercantile, I think is the name of it. Cold War Mercantile is the name of his YouTube channel. I found this dude, and he's got an Instagram page. He goes to old Soviet bloc countries and buys stuff and ships them back. And he said it, and he describes it. It's very bizarre, the things you're not allowed to take versus the things you can take and ship to the United States. And it's not the United States that has the problems. It's customs coming out of those countries, the things they'll let you take. So he buys just like old Soviet facility buildings. Like, he'll buy staplers and he'll buy chairs and desks and light fixtures, just fixtures out of buildings. So he bought this factory. I don't even know where it's at. It looks like that t-shirt factory that we explored last year. He bought this big ass building, and the city had it, bought it. It was a Buster Brown shoe company factory where they were building shoes. And he bought this for $1. The city just gave it to him for $1. And they're like, you have to maintain this, secure it, and keep people out of here. So he went in, and immediately there's all these old cast iron pipes and shit in there. And he's like, okay, we're never going to use this boiler again. So he started cutting the cast iron out and recycling the cast iron. And he was able to pay to have the windows fixed. So he fixed the windows. First he put like plexiglass in, and then he like actually started repairing the windows. And the dude that owned it before the city bought it was like this giant hoarder. The guy was like multimillionaire, and he would go to auctions and he'd buy everything from the auction. And then semi trucks would just bring in. He had like 400 toilets just sitting in this place. He had like those plastic chairs, like the asylum chairs, the typical like government school chairs. He had like 400 of those in like pastel colors. So it's full of just stuff. And he'll put this up for auction on eBay, make a little bit of money. And dude, this place is huge. And I was telling Amanda, I go, I kind of miss that. We were talking about when we bought the building, and we were talking about people on YouTube. They're like, spiral staircase. I'm like, yeah, we should totally do a spiral. Yeah, glass wall. Yeah, let's do that. Yeah, like tube that you can swim from upstairs to yeah, let's do that. And she's like, the wonderment. It's the wonderment. I go, maybe we should just buy one of these old fucking factories. I just saw one the other day. There was something like ridiculous, like fucking insane, for sale for like $200,000. And it's like, this enormous fact. Like we could never even afford to heat and cool it. But I'm like, maybe we should do something like that. Maybe we need a project like that and just start another YouTube. Like she goes, it's the wonderment. You miss the wonderment of it. I go, yeah. And because we were talking about your trailer, and I don't know how we got on the Cold War mercantile thing, but you can totally do that. It doesn't matter like what you're. So if like, what do you want? I'll send Brandel videos from Matt. I'm like, how many fucking guys shot this video? He's like, I'll bet there's 12 dudes there. Or you look at Sean Ryan's show.
Right.
We know there's 8 cameras on Sean Ryan's show. 8, is that what it is? So, like, there's 8 cameras. That's how that happens. And then Rob Bailey. Like, I think Rob's stuff looks fucking amazing, some of it. And I'm like, how many guys, we've shot videos because of Rob's videos. Right. I'm like, how come I don't have a fucking campfire? Let's go do a campfire. We did the firewood carrier thing. And then Rob will come out with a video like on his, like when you did the bag and he had the used it as a cooler bag and shit. We were going to do a video almost identical to that. And then Rob shows up with a video. I'm like, we can't do Rob's. He's going to think we copied him. That's why we waited a year to do that with ours, because Rob had already done it. But you can do whatever the fuck you want to do. Nobody's going to care.
Again, again, I know I can do whatever I want to do. But the reality is what I want is it to be unique. It's kind of, again, like the tattoo. There is documentation of me talking about tattoos on here. I think a tattoo has to be personal, has to be unique to you, and it has to be special to you. You know, a fucking butterfly on your back because all your girlfriends are getting, there's nothing unique, special or about it, you know. And for me personally, because I'm old, I think that a tattoo should have a rite of passage attached to it, meaning there's a reason why you got that tattoo. Maybe you fucking joined the Navy and crossed the 38th parallel, or, you know, you're in the fucking 82nd Airborne and you're jumping out of planes and you want to fucking
So you're getting a shellback tattoo?
No, I'm not getting a shellback tattoo. I'm going to get a tattoo that is going to be special to me, that is going to represent a rite of passage that I went through, so it's mine, and I'm going to get it. Which again is a weird thing, in the fact that I went the entire time through the Marine Corps. I don't have no USMCs. I don't have no, you know, devil dogs on my shoulder. Because again, why would you get something that some other person has tattooed on their body? It just doesn't make any sense. To me, it doesn't. I know that, you know, people have a lot of reasons for getting tattoos, but there used to be a time in this country where tattoos actually meant something, and now they're just a fucking thing that people do.
What are you going to get?
I'm going to get the fucking Scout Sniper Hawk.
The one that Hannah drew?
I will get the one that Hannah drew, yeah.
How big? Whole back?
I can't decide, because the problem is, yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking, just up on the chest, but then I was thinking on the arm, because then it would be seen.
You should do one on your arm.
I don't want to. You want to hear because you said whole back.
I was going to one up that.
I love the idea of whole back, right? I love the idea of whole back.
Till you're there 20 hours.
No, it's not the 20 hours in the chair. It's then only my boyfriend gets to see it. So, you know, only my boyfriend gets to see it. So that's not, you know, I want to be able to see it, really. I want to be able to see the.
I was thinking you do life size and have it tattooed on your legs and your back and your arms and everything. So it's just backwards on you.
And so that the problem is it opens up again, and I'm sure Brandel understands this. It's that initial one, right? It opens up the door for all kinds of other shit. Cause I've had other ideas. Like I would like a fucking, you know, just a fucking woodland band around my arm. I got my brand on my leg that you can't see anymore. So I feel like that.
We can make you see it again.
I feel like that needs to be highlighted in some way.
So you're going to rebrand it?
You can't rebrand. I would have to brand somewhere else.
I'll do it for you.
You can't rebrand. But no, I don't want to rebrand it. I want to just, you know, maybe highlight it and outline it.
I have the perfect guy.
And put some stuff on there. Put some stuff on there that says Scout Sniper, so there'll be no confusion of what the brand is. even though there's some people out there that are just Karens about.
What did the SS stand for? What did that SS stood? What did it? It was two German words, right? SS.
Yeah, I don't know how the. I mean, I used to.
What?
No, it wasn't Secret Service. It was a.
Did you just say Secret Service?
What
No.
was it?
It's in German.
It's German. It's Schachen something. It's.
You're from where all the Nazis are. I'm surprised you don't know.
We don't have Nazis.
And it's.
You have a Nazi museum.
Yeah, but we're more about the Klan.
That isn't the Klan come from? Isn't that their whole thing?
I don't think so.
They know anything about.
Yeah. So. I don't know. It opens up the door for all this other stuff, and
Name some of the world's best tattoo artists.
World's best. In what area?
You better have the name I'm looking for.
You're throwing Brandon Bond.
Yep, that's the one I'm looking for.
So again, it opens up a whole lot of doors.
Okay.
I don't know when or how I'm going to do it. It's just time.
What's his Anon?
Yeah. All or nothing.
All or Nothing Tattoo out of Atlanta. Brandon Bond. He was on my live last night. He was friends with James. He came out and trained a lot with James. There's pictures of James, a video. He put a video up yesterday of James had him in a headlock. Yeah. And he's like, I propose it. He's like, call me. I'm like, I don't call anybody. And it's turned into this big thing. He's like, motherfucker, you and Axl Rose are the only people that don't. He's like, he's tattooed everybody. He tattooed Axl Rose, tattooed tons of people. He has a huge studio in Atlanta. It's amazing. It's beautiful. And then he has a private studio in the back. And he flies dudes in from all over. Well, they fly in from all over the world. He hosts artists.
Yeah.
But he's like, I propose a trade. I want some gear. I'll do a piece on you. And I'm like, I don't really have tattoos. And he's like, but your wife does. I'll do a piece. I'm like, I'm not coming to Atlanta. And it's just turned into this whole thing. And I plan to go to Atlanta just to see him, to meet him in person.
That's the other problem. It's detail. I mean, I don't know. Brandon can probably tell me better than anybody else because I don't have tattoos, but
show him Brandon's work.
It's detailed. It's detailed enough that I think it's going to take a long time.
This is the guy.
Yeah. It's going to take a long time. That I'm not going to just be.
He has several artists in there that could do it as well.
A butterfly on my ankle.
We could get matching butterflies.
Yeah.
What if they were cool butterflies though?
Like what? Carrying guns?
Like metal? Like
metal?
Yeah, metal butterflies with like guns on their wings and shit.
That might be cool.
Check this out.
Let's see. What are you going to show me?
Dude, it's fucking insane. I don't even know what he's going to show you, but it doesn't matter which one it is because they're all fucking insane.
Let's find one that he's posted here.
He's got like 10 different Instagram pages.
Damn, that is cool.
Dude, you have no idea, man. I don't even want it as a tat. I want him to just draw something for me.
Yeah, that is cool.
That's who we should have. That's what we should do. When I have T-shirt things, I should throw them to him and be like, hey, what would you do with this? And he'll just fix it real quick and send it back.
So again, that's kind of my, I never saw tattoos. I never saw anything like, there was a bunch of guys that got regulator tattoos back in the day. And
what's a regulator tattoo? Regulators, mount up. It was a cold, dark night.
No, it's you see the size of that chicken? Young Guns.
Yeah.
The Young Guns were regulators, and all these Marines were like, hey, we're getting regulator tattoos because we're regular. I'm like, no, that's dumb.
Yeah, it's Warren G.
That's dumb. I'm not doing a tattoo that 20 other people have. That's just, to me, that's stupid. And then my mom, very anti-tattoo, so she had
Your mom has tattoos.
She had a very illustrious young career as a criminal, and
I think it was a little more than that.
As a criminal, and during that criminal time period, she had been marked with tattoos. So those were not. She wasn't getting tattoos because she liked butterflies. She was getting tattoos because she was being marked. And I had never seen any of her tattoos. Like she has one on her chest. She has one, I think, on her back, and then little teeny ones. And then one, I had only seen one. She had one on her knee, right on the side of her knee. And I don't even fucking remember what it was. But in the late 80s, she's like, got to get rid of it. And back then they used to fucking burn them off. And so she had this crazy ass burn on her leg forever, and we were putting salve and shit on it. And, you know, seeing that, I was like, fuck it, I'm not getting a tattoo, because why would I get a tattoo now and then 20 years later I'm like, fucking burn this shit off, right? It was one of the, and that's kind of how my mentality has worked on the tattoos. The same thing happened with cigarettes. My mom used to smoke like a fucking chimney, like smoke. And with the windows rolled up in the car, and I'm in the back, and I'm like, I can't sniff.
We could fly Derek out here, and he'd work on you here if you want.
I mean, that'd be cool too.
Derek, I'm sure, like, he'll 100%. I mean, I'll fly him in.
And so that, you know, and because of all that, like, I never smoked a cigarette. So there was a lot of, you know, the Marine Corps has a lot of vices that people do in the Marine Corps, that I was one of those guys that people would be like, what?
So have you smoked a cigarette now?
You don't dip? No, I don't smoke.
Have you ever smoked a cigarette?
Outside of the ones that were being blown in the car, no, I never smoked a cigarette.
So you're going to try weed now?
I mean, it's not, again, those type of things have never been like the
desire.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know. Why would I try weed? What's the outcome of it?
I really think I've never smoked weed.
Yeah.
But I really think there are benefits to it.
I mean, I've had a puff here or there, completely random, but it's never one of those things like, that's what I want to do. Because, for example, I also have some friends that spout all the same things, spout all the miracle, oh, it's helped me do this, it's helped me do that, and they spout all the information about taking the weed, but then the weed is now something like, for example,
a crutch.
For example, like, I drink way too much Diet Pepsi. I've drank way too much Diet Pepsi for fucking 100 years, and I can't not drink it. And the more I drink it, the more I want to drink it. So, you know, when people talk about a fucking 24-pack, I can do a 24-pack in half a day because I'm just drinking it constantly.
Do you think
and
about
I see
it
that,
do you think about it when you're not drinking it?
I see that with weed as the same thing, that these people use. They're smoking more and more and more and more weed, and now it's become part of their life. And I don't know necessarily as a good thing. And do I think about, I used to do, I mean, I still, like, with Diet Pepsi, I always equated it to exactly like a cigarette. Whereas if we're eating a meal, I can order 4 Diet Pepsis, right? During the meal, I'll drink 4 Diet Pepsis because I can't, that's the other thing. I can't have something in my hand, whether it's a Diet Pepsi or a beer, I want to just drink it. It doesn't sit anywhere. And so I'll drink these Diet Pepsis. So I'll drink 4 in the meal, right? Meal's done. And then when the meal's done, I'll be like, hey, I'm going to stop at fucking 7-Eleven and get a Diet Pepsi for the road home. Why do I need to fucking another Diet Pepsi? I've convinced myself, or I had convinced myself that they put a little drug in there that made you happy, and that's why you were craving it.
Yeah, I noticed there's not. I was just looking to see if you had a Diet Pepsi here.
I just got. I mean, again, I'm trying to stop, but it's one of those things where, like, a couple weeks ago, I'm like, 3 a day. That's it. I'm just going to drink 3 a day. And then what'll happen is I'll drink 1, and then 20 minutes later, I'll be like, I really need another one. I need another one, and I'll drink that 1. And then by the end of the day, I will realize that I went past my limit, right? I've drinking 6 now instead of the 3 that I wanted to drink. And the funny thing about, and I'm not a doctor. I just played one on TV once. I stopped drinking the amount of Diet Pepsi I was drinking, and man, my acid reflux has been through the roof.
Higher.
Yeah, way through the roof. I'm eating Tums like it's going out of style. I can't, like, if just a bottle of water, if I drink a bottle of water, I got to take an antacid with it.
Are you taking Cialis?
No.
Okay.
No.
So Cialis is a vasodilator, right? And you'll use it because it's for prostate health. I was taking Cialis, and I got acid reflux really bad. And so bad I was taking Nexium. And I didn't know what was causing it. It just started, and I started taking, and when I stopped taking both of them, and it all went away. So then I started taking the Cialis again, but a way lesser dosage. And when I was taking like half, I don't know what milligrams they are, but when I started piling those on, it came back. And when I dialed the Cialis back, the acid reflux went away again. It was probably for, I don't know, a couple months. Like I was having to take Nexium and shit. And it was like, it's when I was I thought it was Gina's tacos. I thought it was the tacos. It was right around then. And, it was, when I stopped the Cialis, the acid reflux went away. So, I mean, it's possible that it's something else.
Well, I thought it was, because the only thing that's changed is the amount of soda I was drinking. And so I thought, well, maybe it's carbonation. Like somehow the carbonation is keeping the acid down. So I got carbonated water and it's not helping. So I don't know what it is.
Weird.
Yeah, it's weird, but whatever.
But you've had your blood work done, right?
Yeah, but I'm not due for another month or 2 months.
Because my guy does all of our blood work and looks at it, and like I go in and sit with him, and I'm like, what stands out? What do I need to know about? What can we dial in? Make better. What should we reduce? And have those conversations. But when I went to a normal doctor, you never had those conversations with a normal doctor. It's like the doctor.
They're just there to.
Yeah, you're lucky if you see them for a couple minutes. And it's literally like they don't fucking know. And when you ask them certain things, they actually get like almost combative with you. Like, how dare you fucking bring this up to me? So to have your hormones optimized and to have a guy that can actually look at all your blood work and look at everything in addition, it really makes a difference, So the way you are with the Pepsi is like cookies. I say cookies. I'm not like a big cookie, but anything desserts, right? I had a 5-pound cheesecake in the fridge that Kent brought in here. His wife made, right?
Well, it was keto. That's good.
It's not keto. Oh. They asked, do you want keto or not? And I told Amanda, I'm like, no, I don't want any fucking keto cheesecake. So it's a real full-blown cheesecake. And I'm trying not to eat it. And I was listening to a bunch of Wes Watson stuff, and he repetitively over and over said, people like, how did you get to where you are? And they're like, what do you do? And he said, it's not what I do, it's what I don't do. And I noticed every interview, he always said, I don't drink, I don't smoke weed, he has this whole list of things he does not do. And I'm like, I'm going to stop drinking. Every time we do a SRF, right, I'm like, I got 6 weeks to be in better shape. I feel like I'm kind of fat on this stage. I'm going to look better. I'm going to just really work out right for 6 months, right? And I'm going to look different. And I never do. But I have stopped I'll just stop drinking. That's the only thing I stop, is I stop drinking 4 weeks. And then boom, all my veins come back in, a lot of fat comes off, and I stopped drinking. I haven't drank for, I don't know, probably 2 months right now. And with that, I make a conscious effort to work out. I'm not working out like I used to. I used to, cardio for twice a day for 30 minutes and work out for 45. And I just got a lot of fucking aches and pains and shit. My knee has really fucked me up for the last year. And I don't want to go get surgery. But along with that, I've stopped eating the desserts, right? I throw the cookies away. They're not in there. But when I eat every day after lunch, I'm like, man, I really want something, So I'd get the cheesecake box out, and I'd eat a couple bites of the cheesecake. And it's a fucking giant cheesecake. And I'm like, this thing's been in the fridge for 2 weeks. It's probably not good. I can go a couple more days. But I finally threw it away yesterday, so there's nothing in there. And I go in there. I went in there like 4 times last night. And I say last night, like before 9 o'clock. I went in there 4 times looking. I'm looking all through the fridge, and I know there's nothing in there because I've thrown it away, but I'm still fucking in there. And it is. They say sugar, man, is like the fucking most addictive thing in the world. And that's what's in that bullshit. It's polished sugar. It's another form of sugar.
Yeah, back in the 60s, Nabisco, the owners of Nabisco was like, hey, man, we're fucking putting too much sugar in all our shit. It's not good for people to have all this sugar in there. And so Nabisco actually got into got all the other manufacturers, all the other cookie manufacturers together and said, hey, why don't we all agree to limit the amount of sugar that are in these fucking cookies? So
we'll put something way worse for you.
They're like, so we're not killing people, right? You assume that corporations are always doing evil, but sometimes they're not. And so the other manufacturers are like, fuck you. Why would we do that? Why would we do that? Why would we want them to buy our cookies and we want them to eat their cookies because we naturally crave sugar, right? And so Nabisco was like, okay, you know what? Fuck these other guys. We're going to come out with a fucking cookie that has less sugar in it. And so they actually made in the 70s, Nabisco was making these cookies that had normal amount of sugar in it, right? Just normal amount of sugar. And nobody would buy them.
It's like dark chocolate.
Nobody would buy them because they're like, I want more sugar. It's the same thing with Diet Pepsi. So you have all these studies out there that talk about aspartame and aspartame being cancerous, and you shouldn't drink anything that has aspartame in it. So fucking PepsiCo 3 years ago, it's probably been 3 years. They're like, hey, we hear you. Aspartame's out. We're making them with no aspartame in them.
Nobody bought them.
And I was like, shit, yeah. Now April can't yell at me because of fucking aspartame. I can be like, I'm drinking aspartame-free Diet Pepsi. You can't yell at me anymore. And I didn't notice a difference at all. But apparently, people noticed such a difference that Pepsi lost 5%, and 5% is a lot when you're talking about billions. And so within 3 years, they put all the aspartame back in the sodas, and the aspartame's back in there right now because, a bunch of people complained that they wanted their cancer back. It's just an interesting, we become addicted to these things, and even if the thing that we are addicted to is dangerous to us, if it's a long-term danger, we're really good at identifying short-term dangers, right? You know that if I put my hand on the pan, I'm going to burn my hand. So I'm not going to put my hand on the pan. But if it's a long-term danger, if it's like, hey, in 50 years, you're going to get cancer because we're kind of like, yeah, but that's 50 years from now.
Yep.
And 50 years goes by really quick.
Have you heard of cephalic reaction?
I have, yeah.
So what it basically is you drink aspartame, which has no sugar in it. But if you actually test your blood, it raises your your insulin. It actually will spike your insulin from the sweetness, just from tasting it. And it's like you hear a lot of people will be like, well, I drink tequila because it's 0 carbs, right? It still metabolizes. It metabolizes to carbohydrates. It still metabolizes to sugar in your body. So if you actually, and I mean, maybe it's different for some people, but if you actually drink that and then do a blood prick, you will see that your insulin actually spikes, even though it is a diet-free soda. So there seems to be something to that. So yeah, I don't like drinking plain water either. I drink, and I really, I guess I should probably look to see what the sweetener in these things are. Like I was drinking those 0 sugar lemon lime sodas and those margaritas every night. What's the sweetener in there? Aspartame. Yeah. Yep.
Well, I think having a soul crushing event happen in your life and things don't taste the same and they don't mean the same thing anymore has helped me get by the fact that water doesn't taste like anything.
Got it. Dog trailer.
Yeah, dog trailer.
The overland trailer.
Yes.
Have you seen Patriot trailers? Do you know what those are? The guys out of Australia?
Yeah.
Is that kind of what we're going for? You're not going to crawl inside this thing. It's just going to contain all your stuff, and it's a campsite?
I'm crawling inside this thing.
Okay, so
it's really just a bed with wheels, really.
So it's one chamber, like a box?
It's a box, yeah. It's a box that pulls out of itself. So it has so in the front, you can pull it out, which makes it about 7.5 feet long. So you have about 7.5 feet inside. It's tall enough to where I can sit up inside and I'm not touching the roof. So I can actually sit in there. And it's wide enough where 2 people can sleep in it, but you got to be friends.
Is it insulated?
It is not insulated. That's going to be my problem is, it's not insulated. It's completely aluminum. So it's going to be like fucking sleeping in a fucking can. I can insulate the front part, right? So I could insulate the front part where my feet are, but because of how tight the slide is, I don't know if I'm going to be able to insulate the back walls. So I'm either going to have a really good heating system, or I'll just freeze to death, and that'll be a great podcast, and everybody will watch it.
Is it metal?
It's all aluminum. Whole thing.
Let's just light a fire under it.
Well, I mean, you could do that.
I mean, it's 24 inches off the ground or something, isn't it?
You could do that. I mean, that's pretty extreme, but yeah.
Well,
you
I
could
mean,
do
if you're going to freeze to death.
yeah, but imagine how many likes you would get if you froze to death in a fucking aluminum can that.
Or if you cooked yourself in it like an iron bowl.
Or you cooked yourself, yeah.
So most of those trailers, like the guys from Expedition Overland, they have those cool ass trailers, but they don't like get inside the trailers. The trailer has a pull-out kitchen, and it has a water source, and it has a batteries, and it has all their power management and all that shit. So you could do quite a bit of that stuff probably with that thing too. And then there's always the outside. We can put all kinds of racks and Molly panels and
the
modules and fuel cells.
Obviously, the goal is to make it as fucking user friendly as possible. And I'm not looking to turn this trailer into a fucking one of those Australian Patriot trailers that does everything, because again, I have a fucking truck.
But if you have a company that has things that do that, he's not opposed to bolting your stuff onto his trailer.
But we got to do it soon, because I'm going to paint the motherfucker.
Paint it first.
You can't paint it first because it's aluminum, so a lot of that stuff has to be welded.
Nah, we can drill right through that motherfucker with some fucking nuts.
The issue
Rib
is
nuts and shit.
But the issue is internally, okay? Because what I'm trying to get at is the internal slide is very close to this wall. So when you go, so I basically have 4 feet of outside wall that you can't put anything on because it goes inside the main trailer, right? And the gap between the walls is small enough that you can't have anything sticking out on the inside wall. So I couldn't put a bolt through. Everything has to be welded to the outside. And then that's the issue of who the fuck around here can weld aluminum.
How tall is this thing? Can we touch the top of it?
You can read. It's as tall as I am on the trailer. Yeah, it's pretty tall.
So you could carry one of those little telescopic ladders with you, like I have in the 4Runner.
Right.
And then we can put all kinds of racks on the roof.
Well, ultimately there's going to be racks on the roof, because I want to do solar. I want to have fucking onboard power that runs all the widgets and gadgets that I'm going to hook to it.
Which company do you want to sponsor you for power?
I don't have a company in mind.
Do you like gray and blue? Do you like gray and green, or do you like orange?
Gray and green sounds nice.
Well, that's goal 0.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Gray and blue, like I have in there, is Blue Eddy. Jackery is orange.
Isn't the Blue Yeti the better one, though?
The Blue Yeti the better one? I thought it was.
Yeah.
I do have some fucking really nice goal 0 shit, and Jackery sent Bear some shit, and I saw him leave it out in the fucking snow, and that motherfucker
I do like the way those stack up and shit.
Yeah.
Because
a lot of them do that.
Because it has a so it's pretty interesting. If you look at the pictures, it has, so you have a compartment where the dog goes, and then on the very back, the exact footprint. No, it's not. It's a little bit bigger.
So
I think it's the footprint of the air conditioner.
So are you getting a dog?
There is there's like a utility room in the back of this thing. So there's all kinds of shit you can put in
like
there.
Like a tack room.
No, I'm not getting a dog. I can barely care for myself. I can't care for an animal. Maybe a cat.
A cat.
Yeah. But it has to be feral. And it has to
There's plenty of feral cats, so they're all over the place.
It's got to be feral, and it has to attack people when they come near the tent.
What about a feral bunny?
Oh, I would love to have the bunny.
So the bunny.
No.
Yeah, right after the
somebody
SRF.
took the bunny?
So the rabbit was gone after SRF. I hadn't seen the rabbit at all, and I'm like, somebody took that fucking rabbit with them. Whatever. And then Dawn came to pick up the fifth wheel, and as they were leaving, she's like, hey, there's that white rabbit's dead over there, which is weird because I run around the building twice, 2-3 times a day on the 4-wheeler. Never saw the rabbit. It was just gone. I assume somebody took it. It's probably a giant fucking female. It'd be good for, breeding program or whatever. And that fucking rabbit was over there dead. I don't know where it had been all this time. I don't know what killed it. So Magnus ate it.
Okay. It was cool while it lasted.
The possum's gone too.
FRS, man. Somebody was messing with the local animals.
Abducting some animals.
Local animals, yeah.
So I don't know. As far as content, all you need to go is you just need to do what you do on a normal fucking day and have a dude with a camera with you and just have conversations. And like, if you sit with Austin, you're going to have different conversations. What we should do is one day a week or every other week, I'll just go with you somewhere and we'll just fucking have normal ass Jeff stuff. And Austin will sit there and film it.
Normal ass. I don't have any normal ass Jeff stuff to do anymore.
Yeah, you do. Like, we could go to Lance's shop one day. We could go get wheels fucking put on the Unimog one day. We could take the trailer wherever. Just go.
I already have all the videos of me putting wheels on the Unimog by myself.
Right, and that's that's what I'm saying. Be like, John, we're going to the vinyl wrap guy to see about getting this.
Yeah,
and then we'll just go.
I know that the beautiful thing about this particular project that I'm trying to work through. I know I can create content, right? I know, like, there's going to be this coming up week. I've already got 3 videos that are going to, actually 4 videos that are going to talk about 4 different vehicles and how those fucking vehicles are used within the confines of the trailer. So the next 3 videos aren't really even going to be about the trailer. They're going to be about the trucks involved with the trailer.
Can you put a 4-wheeler in this thing?
No.
Okay.
It's not wide enough. No.
Can we still put stuff in the bed of the truck?
Yes. That's, I mean, the reality is it's not, I mean, maybe if I really like,
because it's bumper pull, right?
Yeah, it's bumper pull. Maybe if I really, really went minimalist, everything could be in the fucking trailer. But in my head, all my clothes and shit are going to be in the truck. But who knows? Maybe I'll, again, for example, the air conditioner is completely shot. That thing's not ever going to work again, so that needs to get replaced. So there's a video in my head, there's a video of Tad telling me why I need something different and blah, blah, blah. So that's a whole video. But in order to get it painted, I got to have the fucking air conditioner off. I can't take the air conditioner off until somebody identifies what it actually is and is like, this is what we need to order to replace it. And then, in my head, I was like, okay, once the air conditioner's off, because again, we're approaching winter. Once the air conditioner's off, I'll just go to fucking, I don't know, Camp Boobalafoo and be like, hey, I'm going to camp in this goddamn thing. And you get to see if I freeze to death or not, and just camp in the fucking thing.
So once it's done, you're driving this to the Arctic Circle?
Close. I don't think I'll get to the circle.
Dalton Highway.
Maybe.
You know what Dalton Highway is, right? It's the highway through. It's 2,000 miles through Alaska.
Yeah. What my initial thought is, once it's finished,
King of Hammers.
Maybe, but why? You want to go to King Hammers, John?
Baja 1000.
We would definitely have to spoon because it's not really big.
I would just take my real truck.
I'll put a hammock on the hitch that's on the back of the trailer, and Amanda can land there.
I'll just take my truck.
Okay. Well, your truck isn't as good.
Well, no, but it has to pull yours out.
Which one would you take? Because
if Amanda's going, it'd be the 4Runner.
The 4Runner? Okay, that's good. It'll be easier for me to pull you out.
You could sleep on the roof rack.
Initially in my head, what I was thinking is, because obviously I can't go to maybe I could eventually go to the Arctic Circle, but the truck will go.
Can we really go to the Arctic Circle? Can you drive there? You can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The truck will go 425 miles on a tank of gas. And my thought was that
would it cost $200 to fucking fill it? That's how my Tundra is. Same thing.
Yeah. Well, my thought was that I would just put it to Patreon. I'd be like, hey, this is where I'm at. You pick a fucking place that's 425 miles away, and I will drive there and camp and do videos of that thing. And
that's actually a good idea.
Just do weekend.
There's plenty of chicks.
Weekend trips.
There's all these chicks that are living in their trucks and shit. But I think they're supplementing through like OnlyFans.
Well, I mean, the thing about OnlyFans is, and I could help you out because I'm a bit of a foot broker. You need a good
Only Feet.
You need a good foot broker.
Onlyfeetmeat.com.
If you got some really good feet pics, I'm not talking about I'm not talking about the average, $10 buy-in feet picks. I'm talking about feet picks that you got to fucking, takes a month to pay off.
Like black market feet
real,
picks.
Yeah,
they
real
can't
feet
go
picks.
on the normal internet.
They can't go on the real internet. Yeah, I can hook you up. I know some people. I know some people in the feet industry. Now I can't tell you if it's true. I can't tell you if they're 100% male or female feet, but you'll have to make that decision on your own. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, some chicks have furry toes too.
Yeah, so you'll have to make that decision on your own, but definitely you need a foot broker when you're dealing with that kind of stuff. It's the best way to do it. That way you get the best. You get the best angles. You get the best. Just the best. You want high quality.
Onlyfeetmeat.com.
I mean, maybe. Why do you think there's a vajankle?
I've tried to buy one. I've not.
Why do you think there's a vajankle?
I don't think it's a real thing. I've seen them. They always say sold. I don't think it's a real thing.
So
I tried to get one for you.
Yeah, you just need to.
There's a website for them and everything. You don't ever see one available though.
That's because they're a hot commodity. Why do you think the government hired all those IRS agents? They didn't hire them to go after Elon Musk. They hired them to go after feet pics.
Okay. So do you want to say the name of your YouTube channel?
The name of the YouTube channel is Dog Kennel and Little Spoon. Little Spoon is my fictitious character that I'm using to, I don't know, talk to, since I don't have someone there to talk to. It is a flash. The little spoon is actually a grenade spoon, guys. And it's because I'm trying to blow up my life. So that's my little spoon.
If you were going to bring on sponsors, who would be your first 3 sponsors that you would like to have?
Oh, that's easy. I know the first 2. Viricole, the hairbrush company. Odeon.
Who's Odeon?
Odeon. They're the purveyors of Sex Panther.
Oh shit.
Of Sex Panther. So Viricole, reach out. I use that brush all the time. That's the best brush ever. Another very special gift. And then Sex Panther. Odeon. Sex Panther.
Okay, that's 2.
That's 2. I don't know where I would go with the third one. Barrett 50 cal would be nice. Not because
that one's actually doable.
Not because they need to give me money. I just need a Barrett 50 cal.
You want to go tour Barrett?
Are they still even here?
Yes.
Because I know they closed the armory.
That was the gun shop.
Yeah, I know they closed the armory.
No, the real Barrett. Do you want to go tour Barrett? I mean, because it'd be cool footage.
Yeah.
You could go shoot a Barrett 50 cal at 20 yards inside.
Do they really do that?
Yes.
That's just sad. It is.
Well, I mean, they have Barrett.
Yeah, I'm sure they have a test barrel and shit that they got to test the guns on.
Chris, they have a fucking ranch.
Yeah.
Not far from there. That's enormous. Enormous.
That's like when we had the M2 out here and everybody was shooting the M2 into the berm. It was like, oh man, that's so sad.
They just had a fucking minigun out there last weekend.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, they're coming out for the next event. I don't know what we're going to do.
For RSF?
Yeah. He's like,
how are you going to do that?
I don't know. We're going to have to push the tents to the side. I don't know. We'll figure it out.
Yeah, you're going to have to make specific tent lodging in order to clear that spot for machine guns.
We'll just have to we'll tape it off.
Yeah.
Don't sleep here. Nobody in the back while we're shooting. When you're shooting, move all your shit you don't want shot up. I don't know. We'll figure it out.
Yeah, the last time they tore up the targets with those 50 cals. Thanks.
Well,
who would have thought M2 50 cal at 25 yards was going to just blast through the fucking shoot steel targets? Oh, I was so mad when I saw this because they literally shot them down on the ground. So that, of course, because it's an M2, they shot them down on the ground, and then they were shooting those poor bastards when they were laying on the ground. They were just, it was like the carnage of it. I was so upset.
But it's a good thing we have a shoot steel sponsor.
Yeah,
it's a good thing we know. Good thing we know the guy that owns the company.
Maybe. Oh, it's too bad we didn't get a video of that.
We probably have a video
because I think because the target did all right.
We do them right too, man.
Yeah,
like every time we have something where we're going to use their targets, we paint them. We make sure it says shoot steel on there. They don't even say shoot steel. We put that on there.
Yeah.
Yeah, we do them right.
It could be a good time.
Okay, now.
Okay, what?
What other sponsors would you want for product and stuff for the truck or the trailer?
Shit, I would really love Nissan to fucking get on board.
That'd be neat.
Yeah, Nissan.
Okay, what else?
I mean, I have owned several Nissans. I don't know. There's the issue. I'm going into a space into an idea that is not my forte, right? You know, if I'm going to roll a sleeping bag up on a backpack and a pad, I can tell you exactly how you need to pack your ruck, but this is different. So I'm going into a space that I don't know, and so I don't know. REI.
REI to sponsor. They're all a lot of liberal hippies.
Yeah, but they're
they have tampons in the boys' bathroom.
That's all right. They got some cool stuff. Maybe.
It's for wounds.
It's for wounds.
Yeah, it's true. It's for wounds.
I'm pretty sure there's anticoagulant in tampons. Do not put that in a wound.
That's what you use?
I saw you had some badass med kits in the truck.
Yes, I got those from Premier Body Armor.
Do you have any Premier body armor?
I have a piece. I have a few pieces.
What do you got?
This right here. This shirt right here with soft body armor in it, protecting my vital areas. Here's the issue about this.
I didn't even know you had that on.
Here's the issue about this shirt.
What's that belt you're wearing?
This SOE belt?
Is that an SOE belt?
Of course it's an SOE belt. What do you think? I would come in here with a competitive product?
I seriously thought you had something else on.
No, it's an SOE belt. It's a Cobra Buckle SOE belt.
I almost said, what's that bullshit belt you're wearing?
It's a good thing you didn't say it. What with Velcro on the inside. It's a good belt. I mean, they're fucking bulletproof.
What's the armor?
It is just level 3A soft body armor.
It's all soft?
Yeah. It's all soft body
So
armor.
are you wearing like an Under Armour shirt, or is that part of the armor carrier?
Part of the armor carrier. It comes with the soft body armor.
I seriously had no idea you had that on there.
Yeah.
I just saw the med kit.
I have been wearing this whole time, and it got a little hot in here, so I'm sure my chest smells like a foot.
No, I heard they have like an anti-stink material and all
my
that
chest
stuff.
smells like a foot because I've definitely been sweating. It's supposed to make you feel good, right? When you have like I got this on here, and it's like, yeah, somebody shoots me with
in case people throw ninja stars at you.
Okay, in case somebody throws a ninja star at me, it's supposed to be, but this is the thing I'm going to say.
Some Chinese death darts.
And I know it's not what they were going for, right? I know they were going for something that was very concealable, very lightweight, and something that you could get people to wear all the time, right? But man, you know, the body armor is only this big. It's just I think it's 12. It's 12 by 13. And this is what I'm going to say. It's 12 by 13, and this is great. This is a great piece of kit if Chris Costa's shooting you. Right? This is great.
Because he's going to put them all center mass.
If Chris Costa pops around the corner and throws 3 into the A zone, I'm good, right? I'm good. But I have seen people shoot, and there's a lot of other places where bullets go in real life that I would be very upset if I got hit. You know, there's a lot of other. I've seen people shoot, and A zone is really not a real thing in the real world. So I feel like I'm
more armor.
Yeah, I feel like I'm protected, but I also feel like it's really not enough. Right? It's not enough. I feel like it should go at least, you know, out here.
I think when you wear armor, you're used to wearing a lot of other shit that your armor's in.
I know.
So your armor really is only that size. It's all the other bullshit you have on you.
And then I feel really like it. I don't know if you guys can see this, but it only goes down to here.
I think that's how your plates are.
It only goes down to here, and I feel like my belly button needs a little protection. I don't know.
A dangler.
Yeah.
We can put a dangler. We can attach a dangler to that.
Like we had
and then Premier's making a piece of armor that goes in the dangler.
We had a kid, Souza, fucking huge. He was 6'5" or something, like really tall.
I think he commented on your Facebook this morning.
And really tall kid, and the biggest body armor. You put this body armor on him, and he had like this much of his back that was completely exposed because the body armor didn't go down close to his waist, and so we actually had to get fucking, acquire
an extra plate.
Because we had the front body armor,
groin protector,
protector, and so he's running around Iraq with a fucking groin protector hanging on the back of his flak jacket to cover most of his fucking back. So
now, when you say flak jacket, that was actual body armor.
yeah, at that time it was body armor. That was the new and improved version.
Have you seen any of the shorts of you talking about buying a Nissan truck because you're tired of American shit?
No.
So there's a short out there. It's on YouTube. That it's on there. I saw it on TikTok and it's on Instagram. You should check it out. Like, there's some crazy shit. Like, motherfuckers are angry, and then other dudes are like, "Your truck is actually one of the most American-made fucking trucks that there is," and people are like, "How dare you say you're not buying American?"
Yeah, I mean, the reality is,
it came from you bought it from a motherfucker here in America. The lift kit came from America. The service is in America.
Example would be, when people are up in arms like that. I own a Dodge.
Yeah,
I own a fucking Ford.
That's what I tell them.
Right? I own American made. Well, guess what? I don't know where the Dodge was made, but the Ford was made in Mexico.
A dude says, I work for Chevy, and we have the least American made. The Nissan, the motor is made, like, I think they said Mississippi or somewhere.
Yeah, I think it is Mississippi.
And that, like, when I bought the Toyotas, I didn't even say anything about American made. Dudes were like, I thought it was made in the motherfucking USA. Like, you're going off. And I'm like, the Tacoma is the most American-made truck that there is in the United States, and it's made here in Tennessee.
Yeah, so
but they like lose their shit over
it. It's because people don't. It's because it's like brand loyalty. It's like when you talk about DeWalt or Makita or whatever.
And it's all goobers who have never commented ever on it, anyways. All right, man. Well,
do we have to do Patreon? Do we have Patreon?
I think I fucked up and didn't post the Patreon questions, but there's probably some on the other. But I have to pee.
Okay, so you want to break now and then figure out Patreon?
Yes.
You have to eat.
I have to eat?
Do you? What time is it?
Well, you don't have to. It's 2.
Okay.
Holy shit.
It went by quick.
Yeah, I've drank like fucking 4 of these before we even got on camera.
All right.
All right, guys. That's Pulling the Thread podcast, episode 45.
Yep.
And we will see you guys next week.